Okay, hard yarners. Today we are joined by Cam McLaren.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah. Before we get into what we spoke about today, which was fucking broad and vast and
So many random
spooky and lots of things. But before we talk about that, today's episode is brought to you by alltradescover.com.au.
What trades do they cover?
Well, it's not what trades do they cover because they basically cover everything. Actually, it is. It's who they cover. And I think they sort of cover almost any trade, basically. And they've expanded.
Carpenters.
Well, they've expanded to about like 8 people. Not to 8 people. I think they've got 8 or 9 people working in the centre now. So
Wow.
Because it was a subdivision of a much bigger insurance company, and now it's like it's because of the podcast blown up.
You're welcome.
We'll claim,
All trades
We'll
cover.
claim it's the podcast, John. So
You know, I always walk past tradies and tell them, hey, do you have all trades cover? alltradescover.com. And they say, you can't be here.
yeah, put some fucking
your
occupational
white
health
card?
and safety boots on, please.
What's going on?
Can you put some steel caps on? But they do cover tradies. They cover big businesses, small businesses, and do you know what? I was even going to get my liability insurance for a show through them. So like they're
Hell
great,
yeah.
mate. They're good. So hit them up. Drop the name for the hard yarns. It helps us. This episode's also brought to you by Crafted Finance, who you can see behind me there, Cam. Do you need a home loan?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well,
Always.
We'll hit them up because they're great. So they're obviously they're very supportive and like-minded, but they have actually given me some things to actually read out to make sure I get it right, because they don't want to be, I guess, getting told off by anyone. But they, what do they specialise in? They specialise in home loans, but they also do business loans, asset finance, personal loans. Our services are complimentary. So they're complimentary. They take their profits from the banks or whoever gives you the loan. So
that's cool. So you're not paying them a fee every time. Or
exactly. The issue is obviously they're putting in their time to potentially get you a loan, and if you don't get the loan, or if you decide to not go with them, they don't get their profits. So they're putting in their time at their own risk. That's the issue with being a mortgage broker. But
I like that business model though. I like people that believe in themselves. Like they get a cut when they do a good job. They believe they're going to do a good job enough that they're going to get the cut from that.
The good thing about them is they're incentivized to get you the best deal possible. I think some mortgage brokers just want to get you the deal and get you the money. These guys
have a little,
they've got a conscience. They want to get you the best deal possible. They don't want you just paying fucking shitloads of interest. They want to try and find the best deal. So hit them up at Crafted Finance. The show notes have the link, and so does our bio, I think. So hit that up, and Crafted Finance, they are great, good people.
Hell yeah.
Get involved. Cam,
Yeah.
what did we talk about?
We talked about something like reincarnation.
Reincarnation.
You know, carnation? Do it again, baby.
I know that guy. And ghost stories.
Those ghosty boys, they were quite scary.
But before that, like we ranted for about an hour almost.
Yeah, I feel
maybe
bad about
45
those.
minutes of like we were talking about footy, Basil Zemplis, politics.
Yeah, politics, whether you believe in people, like...
What else? Like war?
What is it good for?
We talked about war and like...
Yeah, a little bit of history on the Churchill stuff.
Yeah. It was bloody good, and we kept on. We wanted to get to the reincarnation stuff, but we were just too chatty.
Yeah, just go with the flow on this one.
Yeah, it's good fun.
appreciate
Even like connections and third dimensional realities and escaping the realm of linear time. Fuck, good episode.
Yeah, you went hard, Branchy. Proud of you.
I always like having Cam on. All right, without further ado, let's get hard.
Yeah, get hard.
Welcome to Hard Yarns Podcast.
I am fucking fat.
Anything Chris White says, please disregard it.
5D is actually a state of being. It's a unity consciousness.
That was Hard Yarns with me, Frankie Rose. So I'm going to throw it over to your co-host.
Daniel Delby.
And Cameron Branch.
I would do this and then I'd gong.
Free in attendance for the millions listening at home. Let's get hard.
Every gig I've ever done, if you told me 5 minutes before that it wasn't happening,
You'd be fine.
And it's such a gross thing. Like my favorite thing, the only thing I'm here for, I think, is telethon. That's what I was made for.
You love it, hey? Yeah.
I'm so built for that job.
Yeah.
And driving to it, I dread it every time. I'm waiting for a message being like, COVID's sparked up, we've cancelled it.
Really?
I would be over the moon if Fat Cat turned around and been like, we're not doing it tonight. But as soon as it starts, it's the only thing I like stay alive for. I'm like, fuck yeah, October, we're doing telethon. That's what I'm built for. I'm so good at it every other time, except for half an hour, an hour before. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. This is too much. I can't do this. I don't want to do it. It's weird, man.
Do you want this to go on pod? Do you want to keep chatting?
I don't care. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, whatever. Maybe the first bit can because that's still an open problem.
From there. But that's fine. But that's fine. Like, because procrastination is a thing that, like, I think it's maybe. Look, I'm not.
Is it procrastination then? Is it just you being like, I don't want to do? Can't be fucked.
Yeah, because I mean, I get that with certain things. I like I said, I get it with comedy sometimes. Like if someone cancelled a comedy gig, sometimes I'll be like, nah. Because depends. Because when I'm comfortable, if I'm doing a set 10 minutes that I'm doing, but if I'm doing gong tonight, and that makes me like annoyed.
Yeah, because you're doing gong.
Yeah. And I'm like, that means I want to do new stuff.
Yep.
I don't want to just go up and just do tried and tested. What's the point of me doing gong otherwise? Like, what am I doing it for? My own ego. Like, that's what it's for. Or really good comedians who are struggling for money who want to try and win some money. That's what it's
money
for.
is for
Or try new jokes. And like I was going up for a while just doing the same things, just trying to get through. And it was satisfying my ego that I could get through the 3 minutes every time. But
is that not negative talk then thinking about it? Because realistically, you need to be getting stage time. So
Correct.
Getting through that 3 minutes, one in itself is an achievement because they're going to gong you off early.
Correct.
So you're dodging those bullets. But then also you just need 3 minutes of stage time. You need as many 3 minutes as you can, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, doing those things, I don't know, they scare me a bit. Not scare me. I'm in the same realm as you. Like if someone called me and cancelled them, I'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
One less thing I have to do.
I wonder if that's just... Am I just supposed to be a Wall-E person? You know that movie where they just sit there and they just don't move ever? Because that would be the perfect day for me. If they're like, what do you want to do today? You can do anything you want. Maybe go to Subiaco. Oh, not Subiaco. Maybe go to Optus, like watch a game there. But otherwise, even that... I've not gone to games before. I've got 2 member tickets to the Dockers. I've given them away for home games once this year. Because I just couldn't be... I just didn't want to.
Oh, yeah, but
I just didn't want to leave the house. I'm done today.
I think that's fine.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think that's normal.
I still feel guilty about it.
Yeah, because yours it's such a common thing. Whereas if I had to purchase tickets to go see Dockers, for example, and just went, I can't be bothered, I haven't gone to an AFL game for a couple of years. So
that's weird, yeah.
So that would be a bit odd. But you go every week.
I go to Eagles games as well.
Exactly.
I just like it.
Yeah, so I hate going to AFL games.
Do ya?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Oh, do you want to know? Okay,
yeah, tell us, because live sport's the best part.
I agree, but I like going to sports that I don't know much about, and listening to people who don't know anything about AFL is very hard for me to listen to.
I worry that the people around me hate me, but all the members seem to be like, I know all the people that sit around me in the members thing.
Yeah.
We all have chats and it's all good to see you. So I assume they don't hate me, but I commentate the whole fucking game. I don't mean to,
but that's okay.
I can't help it. I'm
that's
just
okay
like, if Clarky kicks it along, blah, blah, blah. Darcy tucks the right. I can't help it.
That's fine.
I'd be so annoying.
So what annoys me the most is like, okay, this is, and you'll like this one actually. This is the moment I went, I can't watch AFL games anymore in a crowd. I think it was Matthew Pavlich. I was at a Dockers game.
Wow. And dates it.
Yes. So Matthew Pavlich, I've been to other games since, but Matthew Pavlich was, he did like, I'd say 10 leads within about 3 minutes. You know, the hit up leads.
Yeah, the book turnaround.
Didn't quite get used, didn't get used. They were circling around the top of the 50. And then eventually they went inside. It went over his head. He missed the mark. And someone next to me go, Pavlich, do more or work harder or something like that. And I was like, you've not watched those 10 leads he just did prior to that kick that went over his head.
Yeah, kick it to him maybe.
And I just went, people are fucking idiots. And I can't listen to it. And then that's been reinforced by watching it on TV with people who are fucking idiots as well, who don't see other shit. So,
fair enough. I guess like the people around you would... It doesn't annoy me enough, but it does make me laugh, especially the free kick stuff. Like when it's not going your way, I get it, and it's real. Like the Gold Coast free, like any type of. But overall, it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're watching a game and you watch a guy get hit in the head,
yeah,
like it's high. You know what I mean? You hear people in the crowd being like, "Wow, blah, blah, blah," and you're
Mate,
like, "What are you talking about?"
Just kick it is the worst thing I
Right.
can hear. Just kick it, and then they kick it, and they're like, "Oh, why'd you kick it
Why'd
there?"
you do that?
That's why they didn't just kick it, you dumb fuck.
Dumb fool.
Mate.
Let's go to netball then. You want to come to the netball with me? I go with my friend Rachel, and she's like an ex-netballer as well. She thinks she's plays. I don't know, but she's really good, and she explains what's happening and why they're moving certain ways, and it's so much more interesting.
Put that a little bit closer to you.
Sorry, my friend.
Sorry, it's okay.
Hello
I go to Fever games sometimes.
I go to Fever's the best.
Only because
Janelle Fowler's a beast.
yes, fucking hell, man.
She's so good, dude.
But I only go because one of my mates, she coaches there. And
really?
She's in the coaching program, in the like under 19s program, but then helps with the bench and stuff. So yeah, she's so she gets us tickets and we go sometimes just because I've been like 2 or 3.
I like it. It's a vibe, and also I just like it's like when I went to Taylor Swift. You get all these people, and there's not one bit of shenanigans because it's mostly women.
Yeah,
so there's no lines for the toilet. Everyone's super courteous and polite. There's no fighting.
That is the benefit.
It's fucking cool.
At RAC, there is no line at the guys' toilets. I just walk straight in. And like, what's going on here?
Well, because I'm a giant, everyone I don't know. This is too early for dick talk. This early.
You
in the
are
podcast.
huge as well.
I'm 6'5" and like a big boy kind of deal.
Yeah.
So like I can't use urinals because people will try to look at my doodle because they want to see. People are interested. And I don't blame them. If I see someone, I'm like, what are you like? What's going on there?
Yeah.
And I can't do that, so I get hell pee shy, thinking everyone's looking at me even if they're not.
No.
So I have to use a cubicle. So going to the footy, I purposely don't drink anything because otherwise, have you seen the footy lines to try to use the cubicle?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is my own fucking craziness. At the netball, you'll see me drinking so many waters and stuff because who cares? I can pee freely, baby.
I like it's pretty standard in footy, like we piss in a circle. Like, you'll see AFL players do it sometimes. They all circle around them so they can do a quick little piss on the floor.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, sometimes.
I thought they were just giving them a pep talk.
It's pretty common, man. Like you'll see someone someone will be, you won't see their head. They'll be on their knee, taking a knee in the middle of the circle. But so footy guys, it's quite normal. Like everyone, and we all shower naked. There's nothing like that. But there was a stage at one point, I reckon, when I was younger, probably coming up from Colts into seniors, where I'd get piss shy at the urinal.
Yeah.
And then eventually guys would take the piss out of you, like, oh, I can't piss. And then you have to just power through.
I can't. And I'm pushing. I need to pee so bad it hurts, and I'm like pushing with all my might. And my doodle's like, no way, man. There's people looking at you.
Do you know what
I'm shopped closed.
My hack was?
What?
Openly mock it. I can't piss. I'm piss shy. And then
I've tried tickling it. I thought maybe it's like a little snake who's like, ugh. So I'm like, wake up, buddy. Sometimes I feel like, do I have to stick something in the end to like unclog it? Like, what's going on? But it's literally, as soon as you go into the cubicle, so it's clearly just a mental thing.
I've got a PSI issue, I reckon.
What's a PSI?
Like pressure.
Oh, yeah, because PSI. I was like, you spelled piss wrong.
Like you said, like you hear someone next to you and you're like, fucking Jesus, that is coming out with some pressure.
Did you used to when
I think I need to get like kidney or like prostate checks and shit. Like, but I've had that my whole life. So
it's just a weak piss,
a weak piss. Whereas one of my mates can piss across a parking bay. Don't ask me how I know that, but
footy boys are probably trying to catch it. But
yeah. The bubbler, they call that.
The what?
The bubbler.
Oh, you're trying to drink it yourself?
Yeah, piss in your own mouth.
It's sterile and I like the taste.
Because it's sterile and I like the taste. What's that from? That's dodgeball.
Yeah, is it something to drink my own urine?
Yeah. Classic.
Good times. Sorry about that.
That's all right, footy boys. And look, little side note, for this, people who watch at home, look, Delby's not here, but we've got our third camera back.
Hey.
So third, which also means, and it's going to go black right here, but see this black screen here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one we're going to hook up to like a computer screen and get a producer eventually. And then so whenever we're talking about something, bring that up, Jamie.
You can show it.
I'm in control of like going, there it is on the black screen.
That's cool.
So I'm going to have that coming into that screen. We're back. Hard Yarns is...
I know you can just set up pranks and just put a big willy or something on it. Whoa. Dane Swan's like, what the fuck?
So we'll be able to watch like YouTube videos and like watch footage of whatever we want.
That's cool. Adds the depth.
And then I don't have to edit it in the background. I can it's just there. So,
Hey,
and
this
this is
is
the
the
issue. Like
future.
people ask, like, oh, how do you get it out so quick? So this episode we record now, this will be out in 2 or 3 hours after we finish.
Whoa.
Because the only time delay is me uploading it. So it usually
that's
takes about an hour and a half to upload. So
Jeepers.
that's about it. That's my delay. So it takes me 5 minutes to edit it, because all I do is like I flick and click here.
So it's already pretty much on the
It's
thing.
all
You just
edited,
have to
yeah.
cut out the bit where you're really anti-Semitic at the beginning.
yeah. So we've been getting asked that a lot by podcasters around. How do you get it out so quick?
Yeah,
Or
how you
people
doing that?
Like even Emo, he's like, when's this come out next week? And I was like, nah, tonight. And he's like, what the fuck, bro? Like,
Yeah.
so
Do you know what? Fans of podcasts really appreciate that. I listen to a podcast and they put it out. It's out as soon as I wake up in the morning. I'm like, ready to go. You would like it.
Yeah.
I don't want to advertise other podcasts
What?
on
No,
here.
no,
but it's
no.
got my-
Advertise, bro. I don't care. We got no. See, I'm not a competitive person. If someone like, if you had a podcast, I'd be like, prod that shit.
Do you know Dylan Friends? Well, he's got
Yeah,
Footy
yeah.
and Friends. So it's him, Mickey Barlow, and like Brett Delidio.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's the best.
That's a good crew.
It's my favorite, man, and especially because like I'm obsessed with Dockers, and because in my but everything comes back to it. And it's the gold. It was that in my brain that was a premiership team. I know
Yeah.
that they weren't, but they should have been.
That shit, mate. 2014,
13 we made the grand final.
13. They were easily the best team.
And 2015 when they won like 9 in a row, finished top of the ladder and stuff. Like they were such a good fuck it. So it's like
2013, actually, they even though they played a horrific grand final, they were in it the whole game.
we
Only
won
di-
every stat.
Didn't they only lose by like 2 goals still?
15 points.
15 points.
But
So-
we had something like 4 or 5 more scoring shots plus the out on the fools.
And then Eagles the year after
Yeah,
were easily the best team.
And then
just
on grand final
fucking-
day.
Oh my God, they fumbled the shit out of that.
I spoke to, because of Delby, I got to meet one of those Eagles who played
Oh,
in
really?
the grand final. I can't remember which one. I think it's
Hutchie?
Hutchie. I think
Hutchie,
and
yeah,
he was
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying that they were so confident going into it. And
Yeah.
then just that Hawthorn spread, they were like lost. They were
Yeah,
completely like,
mate,
what the
that year,
fuck?
but also that year, because that was the year where they were the
He
best
said he
team.
was so confident
That
as
was-
an Eagles team. And I was like, fuck, I would have dreaded that. You
As
want
an
another
Eagles
one?
supporter that year, I was like, oh, this is like, oh, it'll be a good game, but we'll win this, no problem. Like,
Yeah.
we were that far ahead of any team that year and just fumbled it on grand final day. But yeah, that team was pretty decent.
Was that Adam Simpson as well?
Yeah,
That was
it was
when
like
he
his
first
second
started,
or third
and then he
season, yeah.
recooked them again for 4 years to get 2018 out of them.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to go. So, like, he is a great I
Very
feel
good.
like because of their ending, everyone's, like, written him off. But
Oh yeah, they got their issue, in my opinion, was so they went for that next grand final.
Yep.
And 2019, and they still got to a prelim.
Yeah.
But the week, 2 or 3 days before the prelim, they lose Willie Rioli, probably one of their best players, and it sends a bit of a shockwave through the
the whole culture.
West Coast because the cultural thing and like the pressure on them, and they're playing away and all that sort of stuff. And then the next year they're in lockdown with
COVID
COVID
stuff.
stuff. When they've done the Kelly trade, so they've doubled down on this. Yep, we can actually get this next grand final. We're a very good side still, and so that's fucked them. And then they're back 2020. You're like, okay, everything's all good. We're playing over here. It's open, and they've probably missed the boat there. And
Literally.
And-
So apparently they just
but
didn't
if they
handle
won
it.
one of those 2 years,
It was worth it.
yeah. But
I
they
still think it was worth. Like it's falls. You won one in 2018.
Yeah.
That's why anyone being upset now. It's like less than 10 years ago you won a flag.
Yeah.
Like shut your hole.
Yeah, and-
like you can lose every game for the next 5 years for all I care.
and
Like,
they nearly won 2019. Oh well, they got I think the
Close
prelim, I
enough.
think it was, and then so those sorts of things.
yeah,
are
and
just-
if they had have rebuilt, so they didn't go after Kelly and they started rebuilding from there, everyone would be like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're
Yeah.
in the middle of a premiership window, and you'd like, you know what I mean?
Correct,
Like, you
yeah.
go for that Richmond, you go for the Geelong, you go, yeah,
Yeah, and
It all
then
makes sense.
And then I think about a year or two ago, they made some errors. I think in their recruitment and trades and stuff
Yeah.
like that. As you know, you should be starting to rebuild and set them back again. So I think that rebuild started again. So hopefully they don't make those.
Have they got a new? Because as far as I like growing up and stuff, I never knew the West Coast other than being. Sorry that this is footy child.
Yeah,
We'll get to the reincarnation and ghost story
You
soon.
can edit this out if you want. But they're a big, powerful organization. It's like, how do they? The shit that's happened lately. You're like, you're not the West Coast I grew up with. You're just not. West Coast they're just Collingwood over here. Do you know what I mean? They're this big, powerful empire that could do whatever the fuck they want.
They are.
And then in the last 5 years, it's like anyone could. That's like Eddie Maguire said it best. Why wasn't the president of West Coast standing at the Hawthorn training with a checkbook? You want to do it to go after Oscar Allen? We'll just do it to all of your players. Half of them are coming out of contract, and West Coast have more money.
Well, I know
Like, why wouldn't you be playing those games back? You're West Coast. You're supposed to be feared.
I'm reasonably good friends with their boss, the Eagles' boss, the manager, the director of football managers, or whatever that role is called.
Yeah. Is
Gavin
he a sociopath? He needs to be.
Yeah,
Fire him if he's got empathy.
Man, that guy, his role and his pathway to that position is incredible. Like, he was my Colts coach at West Perth, went into a development role at West Coast Eagles. I don't know the 100% the pathway. He's the runner. He did everything at that football club, and he's worked his way up to he runs the West Coast Eagles. And,
Far out.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure on you to step into this role. I think a year ago or two years ago. So in the height of the pressure cooker. So it's very challenging for him. So I would, I never ask him to come on because as a person who runs the fucking football club, that'd be a lot of pressure on what your answers would be. And I want to ask some pretty...
And you know what footy media is like. If he says something, even if it's out of context, in 3 years' time, you'll see that with Damien Barrett being like, well, the leader of the West Coast Eagles actually said this on the issue.
And he's a legend fucking... Like, I seen him on Monday at the West Perth game. He comes past player games and stuff like that. He's a very good person. He's got his head together, but he's stepped into a pressure cooker role. So,
it's an insane role.
I'd be giving him a bit of time on that one.
Fair call.
But he's great, and so maybe I will ask him on. I don't know if he'd be allowed to. The Eagles aren't very conducive with coming on certain podcasts, and specifically not ours. I wouldn't suggest. So generally,
I feel like you've had enough certain guests on that would put you on the blacklist.
So
Daniel Del Borello.
Just what? Well, mate, even like on Monday, we've got Basil coming on, and I'm like, I hope the Liberal Party don't vet our fucking posts.
Yeah, I feel like you align.
Yeah. Look, I'm not. I'm not gonna be an arsehole. Like, because I'm definitely not going to agree with certain things, but also
I don't understand.
I know him out of footy, out of
he's a West Perth boy.
West Perth boy. Yeah. Actually, West Perth's got a lot of power in the AFL.
Dennis Kmetz.
Yeah, another one of me.
Stephen Hill.
Max Bailey, he runs Hawthorn Footy Club. Yeah. Again, he's West Perth boy. I played in Colts. He actually was a ruckman for my team under Gavin Bell, who runs the West Coast Eagles. So
shit.
And then in that same team,
so he should be ringing up his mate and being like, "What the fuck?"
In that same team, we had Nathan Van Berlo and Mark Lacroix.
Hey.
So Nathan Van Berlo went on to captain Adelaide Crows, and Mark Lacroix, one of the best players of West Coast Eagles in the last 10, 15 years. So.
His brother Jay played for Freo. Jay Van Berlo.
Jay, yeah.
Is he the one with the heart problem? That was Jaden Pitt. Do you remember that name?
No.
We had a few high draft around the Morabito era. High draft picks that just lost their careers over like crazy medical shit.
Yeah, I think Jay
had.
I think he had something go on, but he came back to West Perth and he kept on playing. He lives in Dubai at the moment.
King.
Yeah.
What a king.
The Van Bellows, they're a fucking good family,
landed
man.
on his feet. That's pretty good.
And their youngest brother, Grub, he's a Grub Van Berlo. His name isn't Grub.
I was like, what? So your older brother's the captain of the Adelaide Crows. Your other brother lives in thinking after playing footy. Yeah. And you're called Grub.
Grub.
This is Grub. He colours in the lines.
So that West Perth Colts team had a fair bit of success there. So
Banger.
Dennis Cometti's a West Perth man.
Yeah, he loves West Perth too.
Yeah, West Perth fucking runs the AFL, man.
Is that what you're going to talk to Baz about? I don't understand.
I will be talking past players. Yeah, so this is the thing. We'll talk a fair bit of footy, I'm sure. I wanted to, again, I've fallen into the trap sometimes of talking too much policy with politicians instead of let's hear what the person's like. Like, I want to hear what they are like as a person.
The problem with that, though, is he's genuinely like a pretty cool... This is what I'm stuck in it. Like, the only interaction... I was just telethon, right?
Yeah.
So I got to deal with the man.
Yeah.
He is so fucking good at what he does.
Yes.
He is so unbelievably good at what he does. Like, he walks in and he's like, knows every person's name. Yeah. Oh, hi, Greg, the
he's
cameraman.
Actually a really good person,
boom, boom, boom. Knows everyone. Oh, how's the kids? And then the trick that he does... Like, he's on camera, right? He's on camera reading out, and this donation's from Warwick, blah, blah, blah. And they feed him an information like, oh, we're going to cut to this segment less. Her name's Dolly. She's from the hills, blah, blah, blah. Flare, if you understand. And then he'll flare his nostrils to be like, I understand why he's still talking. And then he'll repeat what he just heard in the earpiece because I've got the earpiece too.
How does he...
How? Because he's just that fucking good at what he does. That
Yeah.
he's on live TV talking down the camera, listening to someone tell him something, and then he repeats that back. And he's also acknowledged the camera as well in a way that to say, I heard you.
Wow.
Guy's a genius. So like every time I like hear the hatred for him and stuff, I'm like, man, he's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah, I just think it just doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't come across that way. But
And also people get mad. Like, I got someone that was real mad about like when he was trying to move all the homeless people out of Perth City. And I was like, he was the mayor of Perth City.
Yeah.
Like, if you're the mayor of Joondalup and there's homeless people camping in front of the houses in Joondalup, your job would be to move them on. But he works for the people that are paying. I know it's a hard issue, but also these same people are fringe performers who are fine when that park at James Square gets cleaned out of. Like, I walk past there every night.
Yeah.
Every Saturday night because I work in the city.
Yeah.
There's homeless people there now, but when Fringe is on, that's a big Fringe party.
Yeah.
Where are the homeless then?
Yeah.
Where's the problem when we're moving them out?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, that seemed
No.
ranty.
It's going to be an issue that I'll talk to him about.
It's just I feel like he's an easy target. Do you know what I mean?
And there's that sort of stuff, and then but also like I just want, and I think the world is sick of this as well. Like politicians who say one thing and then just it's an empty gesture, or like the climate change stuff, for example, is a perfect example. Like they're very staunch in the climate change, but still selling our gas off to offshore companies, and that same carbon emissions go into the same atmosphere. Like if you really are strong on climate change, you wouldn't be doing that, you know. So it's all about money. It's all about it's all about pleasing that one person to get the vote and then do what they want to do. And I just want to say, like, well, and even if you make a mistake, can't you just say you were wrong? Like, I hate politicians. Sorry about the rants, guys. We'll get on to ghost stories in a second. But I hate it when a politician will not admit their fault. And I understand.
Yeah, but you can't though. It's like when you apologize for something because then they boom 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 hammer it in.
Yeah.
Like as much as like everyone's got their opinions and stuff, that other guy in America,
but
the fact he just pushes through, he can do whatever he wants now.
Yeah.
No one can say anything because he won't admit fault ever. And who cares? Yeah, I did that. Whatever.
Yeah.
I accepted a bribe of $1 billion jet. Whatever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it? Like, don't apologize. Don't ever say sorry. And you won't like.
Yeah, that's Delby's thing. He's like, never say sorry.
Well, he tried. Delby apologized once when he shouldn't have, and it made it so much worse.
Yeah.
I know that sounds evil because we want them to be a person, but at the end of the day, if you want a career and you want to be in that position, you can't. You can't be like, yeah, I'm wrong.
Do you think if you persevere through that first pile on of like, well, fuck you, do you think eventually they'd go, oh, at least he did admit it.
Yeah.
And then if you continue to do that, oh, yeah, do you know what? What I said there was wrong.
From my point of view, I would, because it's like you stuck it through, you didn't let it get. Because a lot of the time, that mob mentality, it's very minimal anyway. Most people on the street don't know anything. Yeah. Most people on the street, if you ask them what they thought of Basil Zemplers, would like him. They'd be like, oh, the guy from the news.
Yeah.
Like, no one, like the guy that hosts Telethon, like, no one has these heart. Like, you have to be, you know what I mean? It's just like a small segment that gets real.
Yeah, so interesting. We'll talk about that. But yeah, and then also the other thing that I hate about like political campaigns anywhere is slandering the opposition instead of just saying, hey, this isn't great, we're going to work on that. Yeah. Can't you just do it without slandering? Like, just so you know, okay, we're going to do this, but they're pretty shit.
I really want to do. I'm so considering getting out of like comedy and getting into politics. Like, I'm really genuinely like
do that.
Yeah, not to slant, not to be thinking, but like, but it's like it's such a base, easy way. At the end of the day, people aren't voting on policy; they're voting on who they like. Like, you could be, if you're like super likable and they like you could be in charge of the like, you know what I mean? Let's set fire to the. They're like, let's go with that guy. At least I like him. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's those basic primary school stuff. Like, if you're going to vote for me or Branchy, and you're like, I'm going to build more roads and make sure everything's good. And I'm like, Branchy's a fucking loser. You're so much cooler if you vote for me. People are like,
well, this is why
I don't want to vote for the loser.
That's why Trump got in, isn't it? Because he'd be like, only Rosie O'Donnell. Whether or not you hate him or not, or what he does, that's hilarious.
Bro, the worst bit is like, because I'm not like, whatever, I'm not a fan at all in the slightest. But whenever you see those things when like, it should have ended here, and then they'll share some heinous thing he did, every time it makes me laugh. Yeah. Every time it's some heinous thing where I'm like, that's pretty funny that he did that.
He's got comedy time.
Like, he's a fucking dickhead, but he's so funny, man.
Is it the perseverance, you reckon? That what we're just talking, like, persevered through the fucking shit, and now nothing can touch him. And I think potentially, if you were to do that as any sort of politician or any person, persevere, like, no, this is who I am authentically.
Yeah, maybe he's
I might be a dickhead, but this is what I want to do.
This is how I feel,
and this is what you're voting for.
Yeah.
Which is well, everyone knows what they're voting for with him. That's probably the issue with like a Kamala. You're like, if you just spoke what you actually wanted to say, maybe you'd actually be more likable. That's where you see her get, when she gets all tangled up and she's just, that's what she's doing. I don't think she's an idiot. I think she's just thinking, fuck, what am I allowed to say?
Yeah, and where do I...
Yeah, fuck. And then you're having to think, whereas Trump...
That's the hardest bit. Like, you're towing apart and then it's like, well, this is a bought person and stuff. But it's,
Well, and that's why you never hear Trump fuck up, because he just says whatever the fuck he wants. He just goes on his rant. He says stupid shit, but like he never goes... tangles himself.
Yeah, don't ever confuse you. Just keep going.
Yeah.
What I said is what I said. This is how it is.
But I've got some stories and stuff, and in particular, I've got some reincarnation. But did you bring anything today? Or
I've been so freaking busy.
It's okay.
It's been hectic. I did look up stuff, and then everything I looked up was gross. So I have a new opinion to give you. If you know anyone who's on the dark net, do you use the dark net ever?
No. What's it?
Cut them out of your life.
Explain to me the dark net.
The dark web is just like the real internet. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you did it, but you access it, and that's where all the naughty. That's where Silk Road was run. Like, it's for buying like all the naughty internet where you can buy like the latest thing I saw is on the dark web. There's like people showing websites where you're buying shoes, and there's people's dirty shoes with a name and an age next to it, and the names and age links up to people that are missing. So it's kind of like that cupboard situation.
Yeah.
So there's like people you're basically ordering. I don't know if you're ordering a person or you're ordering the whatever.
Wayfair and
that kind of the Wayfair kind of situation. So there's that's going around at the moment on the thing, and it's like, this is so fucked up. But then it's like, I don't know. I know 2 people that use the darknet, and both of them have been arrested for terrible things. So I'm starting to think, I don't know them personally, just heard, friends of a friend, they got on this website and whatever. So my new theory is, if you know anyone who accesses that type of internet, cut them out of your life.
So, I agree. And
because why can they access it? There's a reason that they can do it, and stop them right now.
Exactly. So my question is, unless you're trying to entrap people, why would you want access to these sorts of things?
Well, supposedly it's like when people don't want to buy an iPhone because you got all the freedom on Android. You can do whatever you want, but the iPhone does exactly what I want to do. I don't need to do anything more than. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I go to iPhone, because it looks cool and I don't need to have a hacked thingy.
And I can airdrop.
But that's the idea. It's on the dark. It's not traceable. Like you can do whatever you want on there. You can order drugs. You're free on. It's the real free internet, man. That's the idea of it, is that it's like not controlled. But because of that, that's where people are buying people. So it's kind of.
Like, that's a clever concept by Apple as well, to like the blue messages versus the green messages.
Dude, it's just basic. Like they added a class system, and it works.
Yeah,
it works, because if I go to you can't like the message, you can't react to it like a thing, and I'm just like, I'm messaging a primitive person.
And then and then if you were to.
And I don't reply to messages as it is, but if you send me a green one, no way.
Well, if you do,
you can be offering me like $1 million. And I'm probably
What is this? Nokia 3310?
Yeah, no way.
But I think it's the most frustrating thing is if you send a link and it doesn't show it just sends the link.
Yeah,
and then this is
looks seedy.
What are they? This makes my message thread look silly.
It's so smart though. They're real smart,
mate. Real smart. And then even like a group message, if you send it and there's one Android in there, it used to. I don't know if it still does. It used to send them as all separate messages instead of one big group. Because it'd be like, there's one person in here that's not a thing, so we're going to send them all individually.
We can't do it.
Can't do a group.
Rude. Just
clever.
I like that. That's real smart.
All right. So do you want ghost story or do you want...
Can we do a conspiracy one first, or have you got a conspiracy one, or we got ghost story? Or the resurrection?
I've got reincarnation.
Reincarnation scares me.
Mate, reincarnation. And these reincarnation stories are like verified and have been studied. So these are the ones that I liked the most.
Do you know what'd be cool if, like, before we go into it, like with reincarnation, like it's you've lived past lives, but then there's that idea that everything happens at once, like time's all just one big bubble that happens. So if you get to a hell point of meditation, do you reckon you could, if you're just say one time I was like a fucking, what's those people with the hammers?
Caveman?
A sword man, what are they called?
A blacksmith.
I'm a blacksmith in the 1500s making a hammer, and like the fumes have gotten to me and I hell zoned out, right? And then I'm here, Cam, and I meditate and I can reach it, and because of my mental frequency, because I was all stoned, and I can go back to that life. Do you reckon? And then you can like boop boop and just come back in your.
Well, I don't even think it's back to your life. I think it's just it's escaping the third dimension. and back out into the fifth where there is no time is not a thing. Because what we are in is governed by linear time, isn't it?
Yep.
Whereas if you move outside the bounds of linear time, then everything is at the same time.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
Yes. Which is what they construct that in Interstellar as the Tesseract, as a way that human mind could conceptualize what living outside of 3D is.
Yeah.
Which is that's for Christopher Nolan to come up with that concept.
Yeah, dude does mushrooms for sure.
Surely. Mate, so good. Have you even actually, speaking of Interstellar, have you seen when they play it on piano, the music for Interstellar, and then they do the keys?
No.
So they open up the piano so you can see the keys moving, and it's like this beautiful like wave formation. You can see it.
Oh, that's cool. That's when they do like music into the rice or into the thing, and it makes the pictures like the sonogram, and it shows the shapes that sounds are doing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a thing. Like I wonder if like certain tunes and stuff are sending out a certain pictures and stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
When I was on mushrooms, I could see sounds. Like
awesome.
The maracas. She put maracas or something above my head, and I could see the ripples of like the sounds moving.
So cool.
And isn't that what, like, is it Beethoven or Mozart? He was blind. Which one was blind? One of them was blind, and he said he could see music through color or something. Is that right? I think.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he could see it. Who was deaf and composed it and could see it? Or
I think Mozart was deaf. Beethoven was.
I can't remember. Sorry. But anyway.
And he did it by the beat. It was the feeling of it, like
Something
the vibrations, which is fucking insane to think about. But it's also, I think someone explained that's why it's so dramatic.
Yeah.
Everything is like it's all like dramatic because that's how he felt it. Like
it didn't. I mean, Kanye's fucking got the tism, but he's
got some.
He says he could see music, eh?
Yeah, but also like he used to talk a lot of like smack, like a lot of like bullshit a lot growing up, and he never mentioned that until he was already famous and wacky.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'm just like, I don't know. This
and
guy,
he did just write a song called Heil Hitler.
bro.
He's done the two N-word, Heil Hitler, the two worst things you could say.
Which I mean, that's his artistic point, right? But it's like also maybe just a flog. Like, you know, like at a certain point, it's like, is that really, or it's just the fact that, you know, he's doing a song about Hitler? You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot.
The acceptance of Hitler in the last couple of years is what's blown my mind. How is it just we've moved that far past the Nazis, like the people who actually fought them, and then their kids, they're now dead. So it's been just too long but a gap that people have just forgotten how heinous they were.
Yeah.
Like even that, like I saw there was a video of like someone, there was a punk concert and they were beating the shit out of a guy who was wearing a Nazi shirt at the punk concert. But like, in what world do you think it's okay to be walking around with who even buys a Nazi t-shirt?
Yeah.
Like, I understand that you got these beliefs deep inside, but to be at that point where you think it's acceptable to, like, what the fuck do you think what world are you in? Or am I just so deluded that I'm in my own little fairyland? Like,
because like what? And this clip has not to be taken out of context.
Yeah, of course.
Was Hitler evil, or did he genuinely think he was doing the right thing? You know, did he think he was doing the good for the world? Do you know what I mean?
He systematically wanted to eliminate a race of people,
which is obviously evil. But like, do you know what I mean? In his head, did he justify it as like,
yeah, well, of
people
course,
are going to hate me for this? You know, and this is what I mean.
No, like, he thought he was doing the right, but it's also like, did Jeffrey Dahmer think that he was doing like,
wow, yeah,
like he just wanted a zombie fuckboy, like, and so he wasn't doing anything wrong.
The population that we got around him, were they convinced that oh shit, we are being, you know, we're being destroyed by the Jews. Our economy has been taken down, and all those things that he told them. Were they bad people? Or were they brainwashed to believe? We are in trouble if we don't do this. Like,
say that he had 10 things that he was really pushing, and one of them was we're going to eliminate and murder off the Jews. The 9 other things or the 8 other things, people will kind of, and it's kind of like now with there's a lot of things that certain parties would say and do that people don't believe, but they staunchly don't want to be on the other side. And then once the ball rolls, you can't really do anything. And like now it's like, what are you going to do? Speak out against it? They're taking your neighbours and putting them in camps. You think now's the time to speak up? Like, of course not. Like,
so after we'll just put you in a camp.
After that horse has left the stable, you kind of...
That's true.
Like, so you know what I mean? Like, it would
Yeah,
have
because
been
everyone likes to think they'd be the one who would stand up. And
yeah, but we clearly see that right now it's not happening.
Yeah.
And even that, like, this becomes more obvious growing up and looking back through history. America didn't get involved in World War II to save the Jews. That was a byproduct. That's the story we've been sold. Like, it got really heinous and then America had to step up. No, they got involved because they had to because of Pearl Harbor and stuff.
Yeah.
And then after they finished the war, they find out about the Holocaust and they're like, oh yeah, fuck, that was bad.
Yeah.
But like, they knew enough about it that things were happening, but not enough to be like, we're invading Europe to save this.
yeah.
If Hitler didn't start attacking Britain, I guarantee you World War II doesn't go how it goes. If he had taken France and then gone back,
Yeah.
Britain wouldn't have gotten involved. There's no way. They would have eliminated every Jew on Europe,
Yeah.
and then that's it. He would have eventually maybe tried to, like, there's no way they would have gotten involved. It's because he kept attacking people.
Because didn't Churchill was not getting support from the US and he...
Yeah, they got the messages that Pearl Harbor was coming and he sat on them.
Yeah.
And there's even reports that certain American people knew about it as well.
Yeah.
But they really wanted to get involved. They wanted to get their dicks wet. So they're like, let's go.
And there's money, obviously. And I guess the one with Churchill was there. Sorry, listeners, we will get to ghost stories and reincarnation.
Sorry,
but the one thing I did listen, I have read about that was Churchill kept saying, Hitler kept saying, we're not going to attack your cities. We're only going to attack your naval bases or something along these lines. And then Churchill kept on attacking Berlin, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then Hitler was given warning after warning saying, if you keep attacking Berlin, our people, and not our military bases and in the blah, 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 we will start to do it. And he kept on prodding and prodding and prodding. And eventually they started to attack the British cities, and then, or like London. And then that's where America went, well, fuck. And then Churchill was like, now you have to help us. And that's another side of things that I've heard.
No,
that's just another side of things that I've heard. But
no, the Blitzkrieg, they weren't attacked. They were purposely attacked. So they had this idea that, like, if you bomb the fuck out of people, they would all get scared and think. So complete opposite.
Oh, okay.
Hitler, when they attacked, he was just hitting them all with as many planes as possible to get everyone in London scared. But then what happened? Malcolm Gladwell does a good book about it. What it did is it just created a whole country of apathy because you have a thing called a near miss. So if you survive so when a bomb blows up on a house, pretty much only the people in the house actually die, and the people close to that blast radius now think they're invincible because they just destroyed a bus. So after a couple of weeks of like the bombing of London, people were going to work whistling, being like, oh, did you hear down the road got hit? Everyone was fine. He created a complete country of apathy because instead of everyone being, oh no, we're going to get bombed, it's like, well, I've survived 2 weeks so far.
Yeah.
And it almost empowered the British people by just bombing. So now, like, when you're doing bombing, it should be strategic. Just bombing anywhere to try to scare people doesn't work. You need to be strategic and actually take out. And they learned that from how Blitzkrieg hit London.
Really?
The fact that it turned the entire country into people who they didn't give a fuck. And you listen to all these survivor stories and stuff. Wow. And after the first one, you're petrified. Oh my God, we might die.
Yeah.
And then you hear your neighbors died and you didn't. You're like, oh. And then the next night, petrified. And then by the third night, you're like, oh fuck, would they just shut up? We're trying to sleep. Wow. Like, it literally just it creates a whole country of near misses, it's called.
It's interesting, like the whole. Cause my granddad, obviously, they survived by living in the tube. I think it was.
That's where they would have had to go on at night times. They all go down into the tunnels.
And he told me stories about it, and that's when he went to war younger than legal age from memory.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he was.
It's crazy he survived to tell you these stories.
Mate, I wish I could find it. I've got a tape. Imagine if I could
Your first podcast.
It was an interview I did for like a school project where I interviewed my granddad, and the feedback was like, it's too long.
Yeah.
Well, listen to a podcast. But
tell that to Rogan.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about?
And I'm sure he would have talked about this, but he was part of not Normandy, but there was a diversion up the coast where.
So Normandy itself, the beach, there was like 7 landing points.
Yes.
So he was in one of them.
He was in one that was further up, well further up the coast. It was meant to be the main distraction, as far as I remember being told. And
there was a time where I knew all of the beaches' names. There was like Omaha. There was.
I wish I knew.
There was all of them had a different name.
I could ask my
3
uncle.
British, 4 US landing sites.
I reckon I could ask my uncle, and he'd probably know more. But I just remember the only things my granddad ever told me, because he didn't talk about it, like I guess a lot of war veterans wouldn't. He said that they were climbing up cliffs, and you'd just be climbing, and the person next to you gets shot and die, and you just have to keep going.
Crazy, hey?
The just imagining that, like, fuck, man.
If you're a Perth person, and you got anything for Gallipoli, I don't know why people don't know about this, but go to the Kings Park War Memorial, and you know when you're looking over Perth and you look down, that's an exact replica of the bitches of Gallipoli.
Is it?
We built that in this first war memorial for World War II. When we built Kings Park, that whole thing is mesh and limestone. I don't know why it's not more talked about with that. So when you're at the tomb of the soldier, the flame and stuff, and that overlooking thing, when you look down, that's what that beach looked like. That's what the terrain was they were running up. It's basically a straight uphill, and then you're getting hit by machine guns. That was what
did not know that.
Blows my mind every time you're there and you show people Perth, and then you look down on it and you're like, Jesus Christ. It's like, no wonder it was a massacre. But same as like the Normandy one. That's why we invented the SAS, to train for D-Day. They wanted an elite special forces who could climb up things and do this, and that's where the SAS literally came from, was preparing for D-Day. So, and doing those beaches. So you're...
Mate, I can't even conceptualize like the fear, the courage of just, I have to get to the top there for whatever reason. And
it just goes straight primitive. Like, you're there, you've got people shooting at you, and you just saw someone they're dead. Like, you can't have emotions in that moment. You just must be just pure instinct. Fuck, get out of the way, get over the, like, how do you... And then no wonder the 60s and 50s were crazy. No wonder, like, UFO fight. Like, how do you deal with life after that?
Yeah.
How do you just come back and, like... No wonder everybody beat their kids. Like, how did life function? How did they rebuild London after it got bombed?
Yeah.
Like, if you've just watched all your mates get killed, like, that's what I always think about. Even like World War I, which was heinous, the Great War and stuff. How did we even get to the 20s and 30s?
Yeah.
Like, did that not whole generation of men just come back and do heroin? Like,
mate, it's actually it is a thing, isn't it?
Like, that would ruin our generation. If we had a massive war where everyone for 4 years were fighting in trenches and people were dying, the PTSD there wouldn't be no workforce anymore.
Nah.
They'll be like, I can't come in today. I've still got the shakes from, that giant war we went through. Like, people still talk about the dark COVID days.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that. Like, I talked about it like it's a bad, and it was, but in context, but not in comparison.
No, it wasn't like all the men in your street got shot to death.
It's fucking, mate. Yeah, so... Props to the people who fucking went through. And the thing is, like, when it comes up to something like an Anzac Day, I look at it differently. And some people think it's disrespectful, but I don't go to that day with like an element of thanks. I go to that one with an element or like a feeling of mourning.
Yeah,
for these poor men, families that just lost everything and died. And we're just for some good things, obviously, but sometimes it's like we're talking
the grand scheme, I guess. But when you actually break it down, like, we had no place being in. Why were we invading Turkey?
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Turkey wasn't shooting us. The Ottoman Empire wasn't attacking Perth. So you think of all these young men from Perth who got like obliterated. But that's almost what it is. I'm exactly the same when you go down. It's more like almost thankful that it's not us.
Yes.
Like, it's that song in the that Christmas song, like, so tonight, thank God it's them instead of you. It's such a brutal line about like starving kids in Africa, but it's true. Like, Anzac Day, it's like, fuck, thank God it's not us.
Yeah.
Thank you for going and doing that it wasn't us that had to, because that's fucking insane.
It's the almost the idea of, and I know there's other things that were at play, but like the being sacrificed for what sometimes seems strategic positioning and power grabs, and those decisions are made by a few men in suits.
Yeah. Do you know who one of the men in suits were that sent us to Gallipoli for that massacre?
Who was that?
You might have heard of him. I ruined his political life for about 20 years. He almost lost his position in the cabinet.
Yeah.
A guy called Winston Churchill.
Yeah. Well,
literally, like, almost lost his, and then it took him 20 years to build his, and then he saved us everyone in World War II. But like, his story is crazy, man. Drank like 2 bottles of wine a night. His best friend was his dog, and this other guy, the Chancellor, or the Chandra, his name is. He had an autistic best friend. Like, Winston Churchill's crazy, man.
Really?
And and he was like hell evil. And they reckon he was, because Churchill starved India. Like, India had a big, had a big famine on. Millions of people died. People were throwing their kids into the Ganges and stuff because they had no food whatsoever. Australia, all these other countries were offering to send them food, and British Empire was like, nope, We don't need it. And then after the war, it turns out they had stockpiles of food. They had stockpiles of grain, and they just let them die because supposedly Churchill hated Indians. But don't sue my estate. This is real. But he had the Chandri or something. He had a guy who was his best friend, who was like would take on the information and decide things, like would process things for him and tell him and just give him like 1-page reports of things. Like real interesting character. Sorry to dive. Got nothing to do with anything, but yeah, the Churchill stuff.
Oh, good. That's fucking.
You're probably gonna have to edit my whole episode out.
No,
I'm so sorry.
No, this is good, man. I like it. It's, if we just did just ghost stories, and we'd probably run out of time. Room. But okay, so we will start with a reincarnation. Speaking of India, probably going to go to India a few times. I think put 2 of these in India. But we have stories of reincarnation. So this one we call the Golan Heights boy. That's where he buried me.
Oh.
So in a quiet village in Golan Heights, a 3-year-old boy began speaking about a life that wasn't his. He said he'd been murdered, struck in the head with an axe. The elders, familiar with Drew's belief in reincarnation, they didn't dismiss him. Instead, they listened because it's part of their culture. The child led them to a spot in a nearby field. He stood still, pointed to the ground and said, "That's where they buried me." They dug. Beneath the earth was a human skeleton, a skull fractured exactly where the child said the blow had a skull fractured exactly as where the child said the blow had landed. Nearby was an old axe they found. And then the boy named the man who killed him. He was alive, living in a village not far away. So when they confronted him and was shown the remains, the man confessed to the murder.
What?
Yes. And the final detail that left no doubt, the boy had a birthmark on his head in the exact location where the fatal wound was found on the skull.
God, that's so good.
And this is all confirmed and been looked at. That's a real story. That's shit.
Cool.
Pointing out naming the killer, and pointing out where they were buried. Like this is a 3-year-old boy? It's a 3-year-old boy.
All right, got a new theory for you. It was actually a midget. He killed the man in the field with an axe, and then he blamed it on the local schizophrenic.
So those sorts of things, like kids don't especially a 3-year-old kid, and they've got no sort of
because where does it come from? How would they know that that's and they're like more connected, right, spiritually, because they're younger or whatever. They haven't been they're still more closer to the veil.
Yeah, well, I think so because there's like an innocence of or a lack of. Yeah, you're more to your authentic self, which is, I think, more connected to everything. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we have to put up so many filters and blocks to be able to process this world, and you haven't built enough of them yet. They've still got such a small.
This is where that concept of return to zero comes for me, like that return to zero, that blank canvas that we're all born with.
Yep.
Without these limiting self beliefs, and of course your parents and friends around you impart their sort of influence on you, but I think some of these things, it doesn't even matter how traumatic they are. If it's a trauma, as something as disgusting as molestation to something as bad as we've said on the podcast before, like your dad giving you a crook eye. When you're a kid, sometimes you turn this into the same trauma, the same level of limiting self-belief. And I think when you come back to that blank canvas, you then open yourself back up to these sorts of other realms of possibility. And
how cool! Yeah,
I think when you're a kid, you are that blank canvas.
Yeah, you're close to that. You
innocent.
haven't built it up yet. Yeah,
yeah,
just innocent, so you can get that. Do you reckon that the birthmark is that sign of the reincarnation of what happened in a previous life? Do you have any birthmarks?
I don't know. I've got a couple of little birthmarks. I think. I can't remember. Like I don't know if I got freckles or.
Oh, okay. I was like, what do you mean you can't remember?
Like
I was born so long ago.
I don't have any specific birthmarks. I do remember having a cut on my calf somewhere that was, I never knew how I got it, and it was like a scar, and it's always been there. And I don't know where it is now, but I remember for years going, oh, there's a cut on my calf,
and it must have been a birthmark.
Maybe, yeah, potentially. Maybe I was. Maybe I was Achilles in a past life.
Maybe though, like my cousin had one. She had one on her face. She had to get it cut off, but maybe she was
really?
shot in the face. I've got one above my lower back, like a little tramp stamp, and it looks like a duck.
Oh, maybe someone come on your back.
Yeah, maybe I was fucked to death by a duck. And that's why quacking makes me scared.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't know the birthmark stuff.
Interesting,
but becomes a common trait.
Okay.
Within some of these stories.
Slay. Here we go.
All right, here's another one. Shanty Devi. You weren't there when I died. He was. That's the title. Shanty Devi was just 4 when she began describing a life she insisted was her real life. In a town 100 kilometres away from where she lived, she said her name had been Lugdi Devi, that she died during childbirth, and that she had a husband and even a son waiting for her in Mathura. I guess that's somewhere in India, I think it is. Her knowledge was specific. Names, streets, temples, even the layout of the house that she had never seen. The story gained such attention that a government-led investigation was launched, and the man she named as her former husband, Kedarnath? We're going to go with Kedarnath.
Yeah.
Kedarnath agreed to meet her. When she entered the room, Shanti immediately recognized him. She calmly told him things that his late wife could have only known. She then said, "You weren't there when I died. He was," and pointed to his brother. Records confirmed her claim. She was taken to Mathura, where she walked through through the unfamiliar streets and eerily located her former home. She identified family members, belongings, hidden objects without hesitation, but the detail that stunned everyone is that she knew intimate details about the husband and wife's relationship that only she could have known. And it was all confirmed by the husband. That's pretty crazy.
So she is that person then?
Yeah, seems...
But, like, if she knows enough, so it's not just a casual, like, oh, I remember this. It's like, no, this. So is that just her? Is this a grown woman in a 4-year-old body? Is she, like, hell good at, does she remember maths? Does she know, like, politics? Like, how much else? Like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
It's very interesting. I think this one was recognized by Gandhi. He was the one who pushed for the investigation because he found it so compelling. I'm pretty certain that was the one, actually.
Because they believe so full, like, well, there's their reincarnation so full on, isn't that the Dalai Lama? He's a reincarnation guy. And then there's another guy that supposedly they've been, like, locked up. He was some kid that was a reincarnation of something, some Buddha or something.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so...
There's Chinese people have locked up.
Well, the Buddha, like... Well, when I went to see the Dalai Lama and he came to Perth, there's a whole heap of people who think he's not the Dalai Lama. They've got, like, a little chant. He's not Dalai Lama. He's not Dalai Lama.
No, that's not. There's only one Tony Lockett.
Yeah, no, it's like not the Dalai Lama. I can't remember. I remember because me and John Pinder went to the same thing and we didn't realise, and we were talking about it and we remembered that chant. They were just outside all yelling, not the Dalai Lama.
I mean, it would make sense because he has a collection of Rolex watches. Like, presidencies have given him gifts of Rolex watches. And
yeah.
Like, you're the Dalai Lama. Are you allowed to have You got more Rolex watches than...
Wasn't there that thing of him kissing the kid as well? That was a bit inappropriate. But he's like an elderly man. Like, maybe he just...
That doesn't make it better.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, so
I'm yet to see a religious person and be like, this seems right.
So that's really interesting that, like...
That's so full on that they, like, the investigator, the government got involved or had an actual interview. Like, what do you do? Your wife dies giving birth to your son, and then you meet this child that's, like, claiming all your things. Like, what do you do?
Mate.
Do you raise them as your child? You're like, guess that's my child now.
That's crazy, man. That stuff is like, and when it's confirmed and it's investigated by a government, a government-led investigation.
Really makes you call into the question of governments, hey?
What the fuck are you doing with our taxpayer money?
Yeah, don't you have roads to build? Like, it's not like India's infrastructure's going off. Like, maybe stop investigating these claims.
All right, this one I think is, this one's pretty cool. This one is, this is the last
they kind of give
reincarnation
you get a
story.
little chill when you think about it.
Yeah, this one
scary, hey?
This one in particular.
Fuck yeah.
I did like this one. So, in Bard, Uta in Paradesh. Do you know how to pronounce that maybe? Bard? Bard.
I can't even speak
B-A-A-D.
English.
In Bard, Uttar Pradesh, a young boy named Titu Singh began insisting he was someone else, a man named Suresh Verma, who lived in Agra and had been shot in the head while driving home. Titu spoke of an electronics shop he claimed to have owned. He named streets, co-workers, family members, all from the town he'd never been to. His parents, unsure of what to believe, eventually took him to Agra. There, Titu guided them directly to the shop and the house behind it, which he also claimed was his own. Inside, he recognised people by name. He walked into the rooms confidently, explaining what had changed since he was last there. He knew things no outsider could have possibly guessed, including the colour of the shutters before they were repainted. When asked how he died, he said, 2 men followed me while I was driving. They shot me in the head from behind. That statement matched the details of Suresh Verma's unresolved murder case. And the part that nobody could explain was Titu had a deep birthmark in the centre of his forehead in the exact spot where Suresh was shot.
Far out.
That's... Yeah, that sort of stuff fucking like these kids being able to confirm their killers. The first one fucking blows my mind.
That's crazy.
Where the guy confesses to the murder and he digs and they find the skeleton. That one's fucking hectic. And I even chat GPT'd after these to double confirm that these have been validated. And they have been validated and researched, and they're part of a research program, all these 3. But
because they need to research the lives that the person had before they died. What did they have in common that lets them pass on and remember in the next life? Because the new life doesn't really, I don't think, is the correlation. It's what were they doing? Like, did they believe a certain thing? Were they praying? Did they eat something the same day they died? Like, go into the minutiae of their day. How is it that they are still conscious and remember their previous life and so many other people don't?
Well, I want to talk to, and this is something that I haven't told anyone except for my partner that I was thinking of doing this, but I'll tell you and I'll talk about it now.
Yeah, slay.
So,
everyone block your ears. This is for you.
So Boris Walter, who we've had on a couple of times, he's a past life regressionist, I guess. Okay. He does the hypnosis and he takes people into their past lives.
He's full of shit.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. That's fun. But also, like, how cool to get into that job.
Yeah, so
I saw his episode. Okay, yes,
and he stumbled into this
real interesting dude.
He stumbled into past lives by accident because he had someone, he was taking them through a early life regression to find their childhood traumas to try and regress them as a therapist. So he's a hypnotherapist with a psychotherapy degree.
And he accidentally like tapped into their past life.
Yes.
That's fucking cool.
So that's how he discovered he could do this. It was a world unknown to him. He was just a psychotherapist trying to learn and trying to help people.
So it's like a hypnotherapy. So he's already in the
puts them into a state of hypnosis, takes them back to their early childhood, and then they unpack their traumas.
So that's CBT, right? Cognitive brain training or some shit?
I don't know.
Okay.
He'd be able to. Anyway, so this one took, he started having, I guess, experiences where he was like, oh, okay, well, I don't tell them what to do. I don't tell them what's going to happen. I just say, keep going back. And he was able to find people who had experiences in like the 80s, or he had someone who was like speaking the first language is what they would call it, like some Aussie bogan guy who was like mid-20s, just like not what you'd expect to be speaking Aramaic in the middle of a hypnosis. So he started to stumble across this. And what I want to do is I want him, with the permission of the people who he's put under hypnosis, to bring his best cases and do like a past life special where he brings us through each, like the telepathy tape style thing, like you have specific people. He's done it to me.
And what did you have one? Did you find anything?
Yeah, but we didn't go to like we did go to like a past life. Like I channeled something from the Pleiades.
Oh.
Yeah. Like it wasn't past life. Well, the past life part was that something had the Pleiades, or Palladian general, had to come through in my hypnosis, was saying that their species were the captors of the same race that has captured the human race, and that they were watching our experience because their evolution or their what was it? How did I word it? Their ascension is essentially for us what we call the Dark Ages. They have no information on it because it went crazy. So to learn about their past and their history, they're watching our ascension take place and escaping the same captors that held them captors. That's what I said in my under hypnosis, and I don't recall any of it.
Wow.
And when you watch it, I've watched the videotape of it, I'm speaking in a weird accent. I'm speaking like this. So weird.
Wow. Okay.
So like he doesn't. I didn't go in with any expectations of anything. Mine was more like, let's go through, because I've been doing a lot with mushrooms and I guess just working on myself and working on childhood traumas and trying to help myself deal with limiting self-beliefs. And I just thought this was going to be another part of that. And he's like, I've never gone off-world. This is not a thing that I was expecting to just go to the Amazon or something, which I did.
Really?
In another part of it, which I was hanging upside down in a trap. And the last thing I see, because he's asking you, what do you see? And I say blood coming down and dripping onto the floor. And he's like, what are you thinking? And I was thinking, what a stupid mistake. I got stuck in a trap. I'm going to die. And the last thing that I thought was, who's going to look after my family? And that's the end of that. And then we try to unpack why that may have carried on to this life.
Oh,
so
part of it, you reckon that past traumas in past life is affecting them.
So this is where he stumbled onto it, because he's trying to do earlyhood child traumas that have passed on to you, and they shape the way you think and feel. And then he's going, fuck, these are actually more intergenerational, where you're finding people who have had a past life, which he truly believes, and I believe it. I clearly have seen some stuff there that's pretty interesting, but he's saying that their traumas and what they've experienced still affect you, and it's your soul.
Oh, no wonder I'm fucked. It's not just your own trauma that you've gone through, which is enough for one lifetime. I've got to deal with lifetimes of trauma.
Exactly. And this is why they call Earth is a training ground for souls, trying to learn and develop and strengthen themselves.
So the reincarnation is like the soul coming back because you haven't learned yet. You haven't made it.
Yeah. So you're just going to keep.
How do you know if you're a first timer or like a multiple timer?
I don't know. I have no idea. This is why I want to get him on.
Would you, like, if you found out, what would you be more impressed at? You found out your soul's been around for thousands of years and you haven't fucking learnt your lesson, or this is your first run at it? What would you rather?
I don't know.
I'd rather first run of it. I don't want to find out that I keep fucking.
Hey, look how
up.
good I've done my first time.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. So that's all right. But also, like,
so the idea is that we've been placed here in a state of amnesia, and we can't remember that we are a lost soul, and all our real role.
Not me, I remember.
Yeah, well, and our role is to go back to innocence, to return to that blank canvas, and instead of trying to learn and become a better person, it's remember who we are. Always.
Simba.
Yeah. Remember. So instead of trying to, be the person, it's remembering.
Remember who that. Wow.
Yeah, which is a very interesting concept.
It's so cool. It's also how powerful that could be if you could have like those past, like standing on the shoulders of giants, but you are the giant.
Yeah.
Because that's always, would you rather go back and start your life all over again, knowing what you know now, but you have to live through everything again, or start your life right now as a baby, knowing what you know? So you don't know the events of the world, but you know enough that you could, you're basically resetting yourself with everything you know now, right as it is. You're getting another 30 years added to your life, or you start again. You have to go through the 90s again, knowing everything you know.
I mean, I love the 90s.
Because no one would believe, everyone's like, oh yeah, we can invest in Apple, we could do this. Like, no one's listening to a 10-year-old say buy Apple stock before the iPod. No one is. So no one's going to believe. And if you say anything about 9/11, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
If some 9-year-old in Australia starts spouting about the CIA and 9/11, you're going to a jail cell. You're going to end up in Guantanamo. So it's not like you can affect things.
Well, Alex Jones said it.
Did he?
Yeah. He said it like in July. Or have you seen that tape?
No.
On his show, InfoWars, he's going... Yeah, he says it word for word. And they were going to blame Osama bin Laden.
Wow.
This is why people have credibility with him. They're like, well, he said this right, and look, he's got some shit wrong.
Yeah, he said a lot of.
But he's got a lot of things right. That's a perfect example. He said that the World Trade Centers were going to be attacked, and they were going to blame it on a CIA asset, Osama bin Laden.
Crazy.
On tape. Check tape.
The guy that check the tape. The guy
Check the
that's
tape.
in charge of Trump's economy right now. He was in charge of a company. Do you know about that guy?
No,
So
I know that guy. yeah.
So he was in the guy that's like pro tariffs and stuff.
Yeah.
That guy. So he was in charge of a giant Wall Street fund, a big, huge fund.
Yeah.
A world. He was in charge of it, 9/11. And that morning he decided to take his kids to school personally for the first time, and then takes a photo with them out front of the thing right when the buildings collapsed. He lost his entire workforce. He lost everything. Then he was in the news because he refused to pay any of the families, and he's crying on CNN being like, I lost my whole company. How could I pay the family? And then he did this gamble where he's like, I'm going to give the victims of the families 20% of whatever my company makes. And it was a huge gamble because 20% of nothing could be nothing, right? And then he ended up, his whole system, basically his whole company makes money off trading. So the more volatile the market is, the more money he makes. So he doesn't make money if it goes up or down. He makes money if it moves at all. Massive thing. He makes billions of dollars. He pays out the families. What a king. And now he's where he is, right? Trump's homie and he's running the things. But that's his like backstory. My question
Really?
is, he was in charge of it. That's the morning you decide to take your kids to school? You didn't get a heads up because you're the one in charge of this giant, like, how suspicious is that of all, and you happen to be taking a photo at exactly 10:20 in the morning? Just the coincidence where they're like, wow, how lucky is he? It's enough where it's like, that's suspicious as fuck.
Yeah, there's a lot of suspicious stuff.
That is so suspicious.
People knew.
They had to have. Like, you just happened to not go to work that day?
You happened to be running a...
Or was it you just felt it? There was going to be a big heinous event, and in your gut, you're like, you know what? I'm taking my kids to school.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but I need to today.
Yeah, the
Like,
owner of the... Have you seen the owner of the buildings who took out insurance on it like the week before?
No, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so he took out insurance on it like the week before for plane attacks or something along those lines. So specific. So fucked. And...
Islamist-led plane attacks? I better get that coverage.
And he's asked, like, where were you? Because you're there every day. Like, this is the one day you weren't there. And he's like, and he said, I'll send you these tapes.
He's going and ah.
Yeah, it's like he just can't explain where he was or why he wasn't there because he's there every day.
Yeah, dude.
There's a few people like that, though. There's a few people. And then there's other people who are randomly, they were supposed to be there for, like, they were going for a business meeting and they missed their bus or something like that.
Seth
MacFarlane,
was
Seth
supposed to be on
MacFarlane.
one of the planes and stuff. But then it's like he was supposed to be on one of the planes flying to New York. So he was and he missed his flight.
Wow.
But then that was before Family Guy was huge. So like now you can be like, well, yeah, you're worth $1 billion. You probably got the inside. But back then he wasn't.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, was he? Did he already make the deal with the devil? And like it's already set out. You know what I mean? So they're like, yo, don't get on this plane.
Oh.
But then,
Yeah, it's definitely prior knowledge and a few extras.
and they reckon that like they reckon,
Yeah.
like all the people I know that are with the Illuminati, if you want to get in, they have to make a sacrifice of your family. They have to sacrifice someone in your family. That's why there's so many celebrities that someone close to them is dead and they're crazy famous. So Jay-Z was his nephew, Kanye, his mum, like or everyone crazy famous you think of has someone super close to them get killed.
Mate,
And it's always something crazy and like a freak accident, but they reckon it's part of the deal you have to sign is you kill your own blood. It's a blood pact kind of deal.
Because that would show your loyalty. You're willing to do that much.
It's literal blood, like you kill your own flesh and blood for what you want sort of thing. So it's that's the idea of the ritual. And like it's easy to like it also just trauma affects a lot of people. A lot of people die and stuff. But then you look at something like the 9/11 ones, maybe that's part of it, part of the ritual, like sacrifice your whole business.
This is the thing. You'd never ever get threatened yourself to be like, if you're in a position of power. Look at, and I said this to my partner the other day, Pam Bondi or even like Kash Patel, who's the FBI director, for example.
Yeah.
Like, you'd never threaten him. You'd threaten
Family. Yeah.
And that's how you get to these people. They could go in with the greatest of intentions.
Well, all the judges in the Epstein stuff keep getting their families murdered and stuff. And like, how is that not a bigger issue?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were like, no, he killed himself. And you like for years, like even Dan Bongino himself has been a staunch, like, this guy did not kill himself. Like, and now they say, oh, well, we've read the things and he did. And you start to think, who's threatened them?
Yeah.
Like they want to release this shit. This stuff must be so fucking big and deep that they don't want this out. They don't want their assets exposed, which assuming would be Mossad, CIA, French intelligence, those sorts of agencies leveraging to do whatever they have to do. I understand why it happens. It's disgusting what happens, but I'm assuming that's why.
Because it's all honeypots, right?
Correct,
Like
yeah.
Okay.
And then yeah, you get in this position, like, I'm going to expose it. I'm going to be the one. And they're like, oh, yeah. What about your kids? You know, like you can say, well, they're going to threaten my kids and, well, they're still going to be dead. You know, like, what would you do?
Yeah, they take out your family. And
What would you, like, if I am staunch in, like, I would expose everything. If I got into a position of power where I had the ability to expose everything and they came after me and said, oh, your parents or your partner or your best friend, like, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, what's it worth?
Do what you do, tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Because you never, ever, I don't think these people with a lot of courage never, ever worry about their own life. I think some of them do, but like that's the last thing they're worried about. But as soon as someone else's life and their family or the friends and stuff, and that I think is how
it's literally the whole story on why superheroes don't reveal their secret identity, because then that's their actual weakness. Is that's interesting. Then and that's almost a thing that you need to run a company or to be into politics. It's like the thing like, well, you need a wife and kids, you need to have a family, they've got to be a family man. It's like, do we then? Realistically, if you look at it, the leader of your company, the leader of your country needs to be untouchable. That's why, why are we paying politicians so much? So some other fucking agent of chaos can't pay them more. If the Prime Minister of Australia is only making 200 grand, you can buy him for 210. That's nothing. Do you know what I mean? So then, you need to. I don't think we should be electing anyone that has a family. We should no, they're buyable. And we should be rich, single billionaires.
Well, this is why, and I'll just use those two as an example. Like Dan Bongino was staunch in like corruption and things are being hidden, especially about Epstein.
Yep.
And look at him flip over.
Yeah, so, and it's like, okay, so what have you found? What have they threatened you with? What's the...
Or is it tactical and go, right, well, there's some other big shit, but we need to just toe the line and just...
Well, once you reveal behind the curtain, and you're like, oh, shit.
So it scares. I think it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
If you care, if you have any empathy and you care about the people you love, there's no protecting them, not from that sort of power. Like you can do any sort of relocation program. Like you're not protecting them,
and especially because life is so fragile. Like I know it's hard. Like if you're old and you're dying or whatever, and like it takes a long. Like life is real. Like it's really hard to kill someone, but also it's really not. Like if I had to kill you, like it might take, like you beat them, like it's hard to actually take a life.
Yeah.
But when you really think about it, a bullet, a random, like any person on the street, you give them 10 grand or like literally just give it like any. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not that hard to kill someone at all. And life is it's so easily done. You're at the top of a building, they push you out the window, like the gas is left on deck. Like even right now, like someone could just set this building on fire. How are we getting out? There's one entrance.
Yeah. And there's that fucking I think it, like you see the people who create self-sustaining energy or free energy.
Yeah.
And they just all die.
They
all die. All. Like energy is such a big it's a big part of the world. Well, not a big part. It is.
It's the economy.
It is everything. To own energy, the way that we fucking run everything, like to think that you believe in your head that Wi-Fi is a thing, that we can tap into this invisible signal, but we can't tap into invisible electricity.
Yeah.
Like, of course we can. Of course there's a way to do it, and of course it's been solved. Yeah. But as if anyone who solves that is going to take away the power from fucking oil companies and the way that it keeps us in line.
We're always perpetually the people. We're always like 20 years behind the actual inventions, right? So there's supposedly we cracked antimatter like 20 years ago. So that's all those things that you're seeing with the UFOs floating around and shit like that. That's the reason that no one's talking about. Like they're not saying, oh, it's a UFO. Like they're literally more willing to say it's a UFO because the Americans don't want to come out and be like, yeah, we cracked it, baby.
Do you think
we can make a move something like that? We can be inside your house and blow you up in a second. Like,
oh, did you see? Actually, this is fucking nuts. I just seen this the other day on Candace Owens of all things. She's not. Yeah, she's not there at the moment. She's just had a baby, but I think Ian Carroll's hosting it. But they were bringing up that Stephen Greer. You know who Stephen Greer is? Stephen Greer is noted as probably the most foremost expert on UFO programs around the world, and he's presented to the president like he's a big deal.
He knows his shit.
And apparently he's an Israeli asset. So they went through his marriage certificates and who he worked for and where they were going, and there's Israeli asset connections. And that is a bit interesting because the things that he's been saying is that this whole idea, the concept of UFOs coming here in 2027 and revealing themselves. He's been a big pusher of that. And I'm just like, what are they? Is it a distraction? What is this like? Do we have antimatter? Do we have these sorts of programs in place that we have reverse engineered probably something, and we have the ability to use it, and they're just trying to, I don't know, maybe distract us thinking that it is aliens coming and there's nothing there and it's just them?
Weird, hey? Or is it...
Or is that because now I start to think anything who's Israeli intelligence is actually just distracting us for something, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's on the inside or good guys.
It could be both though, right? He could be an asset and then also he just loves UFO chat.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, correct. Yeah.
like he could like staunchly believe that and also hate Palestine. Like, it could be
yeah, fuck.
it could be both things.
My camera just turned off, so 1 second. I'm going to pause. Remember I said it keeps turning off? Oh, we're talking about this. We're talking about
Massad's in the room.
I'll set that. Yeah. All right, we'll finish off with some ghost stories.
Yeah, ghost one. Sorry it got so political.
It's all right. We got this is the thing. This is the good thing about
it's the same time, you know.
Yeah, so these are listener ghost stories, or signs, or coincidences, or
hell yeah.
I don't know what you want to call them, but yeah, okay.
Slate, sorry, I'm just paying for more parking. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud.
It's all good, bro.
It looked like I was on my phone.
Why don't you park here in the back?
Because I know your message said that. I just don't know how to do that, so I just didn't want to be like, how do I do that?
Down there, there's a little.
You're allowed to just drive down that?
Yeah.
Okay. I should have done that.
For future reference. There you go.
All right.
All right. A couple of ghost stories. I think we've got 5 or 6 and then we can finish up. Fuck, we've gone all over the joint today.
I like it.
It's good.
Also, did you know Agra? That's where the boop, boop, boop,
yep.
Taj Mahal is. Just thought I'd let you know.
Is it?
So that Indian story before about the man that got shot in the head.
Oh,
he's from the Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal. All right. On the 1-year anniversary of her death, I woke up and said, Sadie. Oh, sorry. I missed the first line.
Like, this starts like a fun. Like, you don't remember when you write short stories in high school?
Yes.
I awoke on the day of her death.
Okay. This story is about my dog. On the 1-year anniversary.
Suddenly I don't care. No, okay, I'm here.
Okay. This story is about my dog. On the 1-year anniversary of her death, I woke up and said, Sadie, please send me a sign you're still with me. The day moved along and I forgot about it. I took my new dog, Pete, on a hike and let him off the leash. He ended up taking off after a deer. After an hour of looking for him, I sat on the trail and started crying. Then I heard someone on the trail ahead call out for someone who had found a dog. I ran down the trail as fast as I can, and a man had Pete, and told me Pete ended up in his yard. Sorry, I'll read that again. Someone found your dog. Sorry. Then I heard someone from the trail ahead call out, someone found your dog. I ran down the trail so fast, and the man had Pete, and told me that Pete ended up in his yard trying to play with his dog, so he assumed he came from the trail. As I was thanking him and crying in my dog's fur, that's an interesting detail. As I was crying and thanking him in my dog's fur, his son walked up to me and hugged his dog. I thanked him for finding my dog, and as he walked away, he said, "Come here, Sadie." And that was the end of the story. So their dog's name was Sadie as well.
Oh, okay. And he wanted a sign that Sadie was still here. And then Pete ran off and found Sadie. And Sadie got reincarnated as a Sadie.
Potentially. Reincarnation is real.
That's cool. I do like I like the connection people have with their pets. It's very sweet. It confuses me.
Yeah. Well, actually,
but I like it.
I used to be so confused as to like the pain and why people get so upset about it. When I lost my dog, I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever.
So that's what I have to remember. Is like, because if you lose your brother, like my sister died, I know how sad that it can be. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
And then when someone's really upset and they tell me, oh, my dog died, and most people are empathetic, I just like, okay.
I think it's
like, but I guess it's because I don't know. I think it's because
they're dependent on you, and you feel responsible.
And it's your
you're meant
little
to look
buddy.
after. Yeah,
it's your personal little connection. They're your little homie, and now they're not there anymore. I totally get it.
And they're so selfless, man. They're just selfless animals. So, all right, another one.
That would be sad. I'm sorry.
Poor dog. One time I had a dream that my sister was pregnant. So the next morning when I woke up, I told her and her husband about the dream, and we all laughed about it and shook it off. In the afternoon, my sister gets off the phone, and my cousin had the same dream about her.
Whoa.
And this was a boy. So later that night, my sister and her husband brought a pregnancy test as a joke. While we were out grocery shopping, they came home and... while we were out grocery shopping. Thank you for telling us that detail.
Yeah, cool.
They came home and we all made a spectacle of the test and pending result, fully expecting it to be negative. We sat around laughing and joking, and then my sister comes back into the room, living room from the bathroom with tears running down her cheeks. The test came back positive. They hadn't been trying to get pregnant, and she was on birth control. They were so happy and freaked out at the same time. My nephew is now 14 months old. Life's crazy.
Wow. That's pretty cool. But they both had the cousins had the dream about the brother and the cousin. That's cool.
That is pretty cool. I like that one.
Do you know how fucking cool and connected the world could be if we could do this on command, though? You know, like...
Okay, well, this is...
You know what I mean? Like, so that, like, that's a momentous thing. Like, if I just woke up one day with the feeling, it's like, oh, my cousin Ashley's sad today. Like, because we're connected, we're blood. And I could ring her and be like, hey, you all right?
Well...
Like, why can't we use that power?
It's interesting you say that, because Thelma Nelson, who we had on the podcast, did you see that episode where she did a psychic medium reading of me and she nailed it?
No, I did start it, though.
Yes, so she...
Because I was like, ooh.
Yeah, well, even the first thing she said was... I get communicated to by things that I recognise. So I've got your father on your mum's side coming through, and they're showing me Henry the octopus because my kid watches The Wiggles and his name's Henry. I was like, oh my God. And then she's like, and I'm also being shown someone who's passed recently, potentially his wife. And my grandma's name is Jean, and they're showing me Jean. So is her name Jean? And I was like, you've nailed both of them, bang, and then got his last name. And it was so accurate. Anyway,
Wow.
I digress.
Yeah.
Everything she said in the episode, in hindsight as well, like over a year later, the things that even she didn't get what I thought she didn't get right were right, like my dog dying.
She warned you about it?
Yep, she warned me that potentially on my mother's side, someone was going to get cancer, and unfortunately my mum's now got breast cancer. So, but it's not bad. It's like it's definitely suited. But so all these things have come true, and so I buy into what she says, and she's just released a meditation in which you can connect with loved ones that have passed.
That's scary.
And so she sent me this before she released it. She wanted testimonials to see, to make sure it does work, and this is what happened. So I did it, and in the meditation, she takes you through a little process, and she gets you to imagine things and blah blah blah. And now I don't know whether this is maybe just like placebo or not, but so Blue, my dog, came through, and I could genuinely smell him, like proper smell him, and you have a nice connection. So I think there's ways. That's an example. She walks you through it, but I think there's ways we can connect, and we all have that ability, I think.
That's pretty fucking cool.
And I think there's a way that we can all connect with each other, because like we are electromagnetic fucking machines, basically. We're all energy.
Yeah.
Even to the point where, like, if I'm walking around listening to Bluetooth headphones, and this happened yesterday, actually. I was in the sauna, and the guy, every time he moved, they started to cut out. So his field was interrupting with whatever, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because why would someone moving change that? And I think that's just an example. But we have fields of energy, and I think we can tap into those fields. That's my belief. So I think not only can we tap into the fields of energy of those who have passed, because I think that energy still exists, I think we can also tap into your energy. And this is why you're saying, imagine we can communicate. Yeah. My cousin's sad. I think we can.
That's pretty cool. You just have to be at that point spiritually. What do you believe that everything's all ordained, like it's already done, it's all pre-written?
No, I think everything is now.
Okay.
So yes, but no.
Because I was talking to Matt Storer, comedian Matt Storer, very funny guy.
Very funny guy.
He was saying that he thinks it's all pre-written. Like when we were talking about it in the car, everything in his life was going to happen to make him end up where he was. All the decisions, like it's all pre-done. And then my question would be, if it's all pre-written and preset, then shouldn't you be able to like zoom in and out? Like if it's all preset, like what's happening in my life when I'm 70 is going to happen.
Yeah.
Then shouldn't there be an ability for me to like pull out and drop back in at 70?
I think
because it's all
so,
pre-written,
yeah.
right?
Well, I think
that
that's
everything in 5 years is going to happen in 5 years. So I should be able to access that point because it's happening.
Yeah.
It's you can, right?
Well, from that
Or send a
perspective-
message to myself or something, right? It's all pre-written. It's
Yeah.
all done.
So from that perspective, yeah, I kind of agree, but I don't think it's all pre-written. I reckon I truly believe there's timelines, and they all have set timelines, and you're constantly moving within those, depending on what choices, because we have free will.
I think that we never die because of something like that. There's a little fun theory I had, is like that every time, because there's so many moments in my life where I've had a near miss, and then I wonder if that was the time when the timeline split and I actually died in that moment. So there, like that life, like the last one was on grand final day, and we're going to the one that was here in Perth, and I was crossing the road with my friend, and we got out of the Uber and went to cross, and literally like
boom, and then
she almost got cleaned up by a car and stuff. And I always think back to that moment, because our friendship pretty much ended after that as well. It was such a weird, and I'm just like, I wonder if that was, we died in that timeline and this is the start of a new one, and like spiritually we're not connected. It's so weird to me. There's a few times like that where like a near miss has happened.
That's a cool theory.
And then like you'd never consciously die. You never consciously die. It's just you jump timelines.
Oh, I like that theory, and I think there's validity to that.
Because I always think, especially that grand final morning when I was here in Perth, we're crossing the road near Vic Park, and we both nearly walked into a car, and it was going so fucking fast, and it's crazy to me that we didn't.
And so that version of you that jumps between the timelines also,
there's a timeline there where it's like crazy. These two people got hit by a car on grand final day 4 years ago,
because they live in that, but also with going back to what we're talking about, the ability to transcend the 3D and linear time, and then zoom out in a Tesseract style thing where you can pick and choose, and you could actually zoom out and see. Yeah, maybe that's why we get deja vu. Maybe that's why we can see into the future. Maybe that's why we can see certain things.
Yeah, you're tapping into your other... Cool, hey, I like it.
We're solving the universe.
Yeah, it's weird. But then also, like, do you test that theory? Like, the most insane way to test that theory is kill yourself.
Oh,
right? If that's the theory and you believe it, I'll jump off a giant thing and see if I survive. Because if I consciously survive, it's like, fuck, it's real. You never die. You just move to a new timeline.
Yeah,
and I've cracked it, and then I can be invincible boy.
Have you done...
And then there's all these timelines where everyone close to me is so devastated because I keep killing myself.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I keep surviving all these incidents.
Fucking hell, yeah.
But like, there's just this fucking 1,000 like lives where everyone's sad.
Have you done mushrooms before? Like,
never a heroic dose. I've never done enough to get there.
Oh, wow.
So like Delby and I, an Italian friend and I once did it. Oh, he's fine to talk about. Yeah, we went to the light show in Perth thingy.
Oh, yeah.
And I did enough where it was fun and we were losing it laughing, but not enough where it was like, it was just lights in a tree.
Yeah. Okay.
And like everyone walking past going, ooh, and I was losing it laughing.
Yeah.
Trying to keep my shit together. But so it was like, it pulled me out enough to be like, this is so fucking retarded. We're all just walking around looking at lights in King. We are the biggest losers in the world. But it wasn't a heroic dose like they talk about where you actually get anything from it. Like Delby bought an ice cream and I found it so funny watching him eat an ice cream like a bear. Like it was fun, but it wasn't spiritual.
Well, so like ego death is similar.
Right.
To that is the ultimate test of like, if you truly believe it, are you willing to die? And fuck, that willingness to die is hectic. I had to die in mine. I remember having that moment of like, no, to let go, you need to not try to let go. You need to fully let go. You need to stop trying at all. Like this let go and die. And you had to die to be reborn.
You chose that. You didn't. Because when I did DMT, I didn't get a choice. She was like, lean back, put your arms in so I could lie down next to you when I do it. Yeah. And then I remember it hitting me and I putting my arms back and my arms going out like this.
Yes.
And in my mind, put your arms in so she can lie down, put your arms in. And I'm like, who's she? Who are you? And I felt like myself, like I felt the thoughts of like, put your arms in. Why? Who are you? Who's she? What's going on? And I felt the sucking and the sound like that of my thoughts being evaporated. And then I was like, God. Like then DMT hit me. It was like literally that quickly. Put your arms in so she can lie down next to you. Who are you? Who is she? What's it? And that sound, I always remember. And it's like you just fall into the blackness. And then it was like the floating and the baby and the lights and the movement and the creepy thing crawling over me.
Still haven't tried
and
DMT.
The clock elf was It's strong enough that it 1,000% worked, and it made me so clear and really understand things, and I can actively see how my life has changed since it. But it was so powerful that I'm never do it again.
Yeah.
So scary.
Well,
this is so scary to do. Fuck
this
that.
is the thing. Like and mushrooms are that on a minor scale. I'm certain of it. I've been told that by plenty of people. It's like baby walking, like baby steps. Mushrooms, like, oh, you got mushrooms. That's cute. Try DMT or try ayahuasca or some of these other ones. But
it's like a chamomile tea versus heroin. Like it's a big. They both make you drowsy, but one really.
Yeah. So I haven't done a mushroom trip since, like a big hero dose, because I don't think
you don't need it now.
Not right now. Maybe I'm actually getting a bit of a calling to maybe dabble back, go for a visit and say good day and tap in. Because who am I to think that I solved all of my problems in one?
Yeah, that sounds exactly like the person who needs an ego death.
Yeah,
to be like, I'm fine.
Exactly. So, but I think if you do something as big as DMT or ayahuasca in the long term, long form, would you just abuse it? No, and I think people do abuse it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they have to.
Yeah. So these are things I'll only do when I'm called to do them. But that ego death, like when you are willing to die, when you are so in belief and just surrender, I don't think I could get like that with that though, within the 3D.
It was.
Do you think you could do it if you truly believed that your theory? So you had so many signs.
I no.
Nah,
because even if it's...
What if you're wrong? Yeah.
Exactly. It always comes back. It's even to the reason why, like, if you ask me, I believe in Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Because the only sin in that whole Bible that they said is unforgivable is to deny Jesus.
Yeah.
And I know that they put that in there to make sure you're hooked on them.
Yeah.
But also it's like, what if you're wrong?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's real, but like, what are the things? It's either not real, and so no harm, no foul when I die, or it is real and you fucked up, you idiot. All you had to do was keep saying you believed. All you had to do, the one thing they ask of you is never to deny him. If you deny him, he'll deny you. That's the only thing so it's like on the off chance, like you pay for health insurance. I've never used it. Like this is my health insurance.
Yeah.
Is that he's my Lord and Savior. That's in the off chance that it's real. Cause it's like, fuck if it's not.
Yeah.
And no, I don't think I'd ever believe that theory enough to kill yourself, because it's like, what if you're wrong? And I've been wrong enough to know it's not worth.
100%. I've been wrong a lot.
I've been wrong so much.
Okay. All right. Another one. This one's a really nice story. I like this one. I fell out with one of my best friends. We didn't speak for a year. I moved abroad. One day I dreamt that I walked into our old favourite restaurant and she was at the table. Got up and we hugged it out. Literally the next day she texted me saying she missed me and wanted to be friends again. There are strong forces in this world. We are just distracted. We are just too distracted to tune into them. We are best friends to this day.
Slay. That's 100%. I've had that experience.
Oh, really?
That's such a good, like, literally. I just thought it was more. I didn't think ghosts though.
Yeah.
I didn't think a thingy, but it was like one of my good friends, Jessica. We had a huge, massive falling out. It was a huge, intense, like, not friends anymore. Then for like a week, I kept having like dreams about her, like keep thinking about her. And then I had blocked her and her husband and everyone. I was like, I went full, like, get the fuck out of my life.
Yeah.
And then I got a message on like a Twitter account I'd never used from her husband being like, hey, she just had a son, Luke. He's been born. He's this thingy. And then literally after like a week of having the dreams about her, so then I messaged, and then that was like, now Luke's like 9 or 10, like he's going into year 8, and like she's my best friend, like Jess, like, so it's like, but like it was just interesting. Like I wonder if I didn't have that week's worth of dreams, and then he didn't send the message on Twitter, of all things, it's the only way you could contact me, was a little message on Twitter. Who the fuck even uses Twitter?
Yeah,
but it was like that's so little random that made me. And I wonder if I wasn't having those dreams. But then was that a spiritual, like we both happened to contact each other at the same time? I don't know.
Yeah,
weird.
No, and that's where it's not. I don't think like ghosts, like what we're just saying there. That connection we were alluding to before, the connection of energies.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
Because then obviously, like I was having those dreams about her when she was giving birth to her son. Like there was obviously a big thing going on. And even that, I didn't even know she was pregnant. That's how, like, it was a year-long fight.
Wow.
So she'd got pregnant and had that. Yeah, like, so it was a very...
There you go.
That's my dumb ghost story.
All right. I think we got a couple more.
All right, killer.
After my grandpa passed away, a friend of his called us saying he saw him in his dreams holding hands with 2 little girls, toddlers, in the afterlife. His friend never knew that grandpa had 2 daughters. Both died as toddlers. way before my mum or her siblings were even born.
Oh my God.
So he was reunited with his with the toddlers. Oh, that's actually kind of nice.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, that's really that gets me a little bit. That's nice. That's kind. Okay.
That's great. So do you think that? Oh no, I'm sorry.
No.
Do you think then if you do become a ghost and you go to, because what do you like? That means that he's an adult and the babies are babies. Are they perpetually babies in the afterlife?
I think it's more like context of like,
just showing.
This is what your experience of these people were to pass this message on to that.
That makes sense then, yeah, but they're not okay. Because I'm like, that kind of sucks. Now he's also got to.
I wouldn't even
look after these toddlers for eternity.
I wouldn't even think you'd look like you. You'd have a recognition of a light pattern or something like that.
Yeah, because who do you like? I don't know. I don't ever look familiar to myself. That's what's so crazy. I don't know if that's like a weird dysmorphia where I don't believe my own body, but I never.
Yeah.
This in my head versus what I see here is not the same.
No.
And it never is. Like in all your generations and like what I remember being, and then you look at when you're a kid, you're like, that's so weird. It's not like, so it's like you, who you are, this ball of energy in your brain hole.
Yeah.
The outside is not the same, I feel. So when you're in the heaven land or wherever the fuck you go, it mustn't be.
Oh, you'd be just like, for lack of a better description, like a ball of light in which those ball of lights recognize a frequency or something like that if they're together or but then in my opinion all those balls of light go back to one source of that energy in the end, and we're just all fractals of that one source.
Hell yeah.
Experiencing itself from an infinite number of perspectives. I think that's a pretty realistic way of thinking about things.
Yeah, it's quite a reasonable way to describe it, to be honest.
I think so. All right. Speaking of balls of light, here's another ghost story. When my son was 4, he curled up in a little ball while telling me his great-grandfather, a soldier, saved him when he was just a tiny seed. But the other baby didn't survive, I said. I said, that is sad. He said, no, don't be sad. That soldier is Brody, his now younger brother. My grandfather passed when I was 9. My son Brody looks, smells, and behaves identical to my grandfather. I don't know, but it's like gaining a relationship back through my son.
Whoa.
It does seem a little bit like the weird. It's like when a 4-year-old says those things, it always adds validity to it to me. Yeah. Because they've got no reason to say these sorts of things. But when
they not just repeat, they like not all the time they just repeat what they heard, but also like why would like no one would have said that to them? Like it's such a pure imagination kind of thing. But
yeah. Okay. This one is a bit of a longer one, so stick with me and I'll try to not fumble my way through it because I find it hard reading these because sometimes they're not written very well and I have to correct the grammar within the message.
A lot of people write how they talk.
Yeah, correctly.
So it'll be like...
Correctly?
See? Thank you.
All right. Okay, so a bit of a long one but crazy. My younger brother passed away in 2017 when he was 24. We always talked about random things and why we were here on Earth. And who can forget ancient aliens? One day, we had a totally random conversation about what he would come back as. I said a pelican, to which he laughed and said, nah, I'd be an eagle. Then proceeded to go on and give me a long explanation as to why. Fast forward 3 years after he had passed, and in my doctoral program and struggling to keep my shit together, a new friend and classmate found her way to me and we began studying together. On one particular day, I was having a really hard time and debating whether I was putting myself through all this and would be much better off if I just dropped out. When out of nowhere she says, when I die, I'm coming back as an eagle, and proceeds to say the exact same, and I mean the exact same thing that my brother said. I started crying, got my shit together, stayed in school, and I know he's with me every day.
Wow.
Just randomly saying, if I come back, I'll be an eagle and give the same explanation. Yeah.
That's really cute. I like that.
I'll give her that one.
Yeah, without details, that's super cute. If you add the details, it's just because eagles are cool.
Yeah.
They fly really high. I seen one eat a bird once. Like, if it's like, you're like, wait a second.
Oh, man. Eagles are
that's
epic, man. Like, even when I go out, like, what's it called? Les Murdy and stuff, and you see them flying over the valleys.
Those big
there.
West Coast ones, like I get why we named the team after them. Like, and
what-
do you know that
which-
truck drivers died? Those big ones. So like because they got big ass wingspans and they sit on the road and they're eating their prey and stuff.
Yeah.
You got to watch out because by the time the truck comes, because it takes so long to take off like a jet, sometimes they're at windshield height. By the time the truck gets to them, they smash into the cabin and then like cut up the driver
Holy
and shit. So it's
shit.
like an actual issue with like. Because they're so massive, you need to be like warning them from a while.
Are you
Get
talking about the wedge-tailed eagles?
whatever the big ones,
The big
in
brown
Northwest
ones?
are, the ones that- yeah.
Mate, they're fucking
Beasts,
immense. Like, I remember seeing one, it was captive, so it would have been even smaller than the ones you
Yeah.
see in the wild. And it's like wingspan was, I think, from memory, they said it was like 2 meters.
Crazy,
But these
hey?
things are fucking like, it'd be as tall as this chair. Like,
And they eat meat. That's what's so crazy. That's why I don't understand like the one at the Eagles game. And I was talking about it when we were there.
yeah.
How does he not attack someone? I don't know. We're like, oh, he's trained or he wants to
yeah.
get the food. And it's like, but you got a stadium of 60,000 cheering people and it's a wild predator.
Yeah.
Like, and you're just letting it like, and
Fly
even if you
around.
train the tiger, he still ate Siegfried and Roy. They still snap. Like,
Yeah.
you got a live, and you're just going to hope he flies around and lands in the middle because that's delicious. How do you know he just doesn't decide a hot dog or a child's head is more delicious?
What happened?
Like, how do you know?
Side note, what happened to Siegfried and Roy? Because I don't really know that story. Did they die from that?
No, they just got attacked. So, but their tigers were held like,
Yeah, the white
Super high.
white tigers.
yeah, and then they just snapped one day and attacked them. Like, they didn't die from it, but I think it ended the show.
Yeah, fucked them up a bit.
I love that joke. Some guy's got a joke. I really wish I remember who it was, but it's like gay lion tamers. Like, it's pretty cool. They found each other. Like, what's the chances? The two gay lion tamers just happened to bump into each other. Like,
I'm a lion tamer. I'm also a
oh,
lion
wait a
tamer.
second. I love pussy, but not like
I'm
that.
also a lion tamer. Yes, that's interesting. Yeah,
But yeah, with the eagle, but yeah, that's kind of beautiful. I love those ones. Like the one with your story about the leg one, where the leg, just anyone where a message comes back and you're like, what the fuck?
Next time I'm going to do just signs, like
Yeah.
when it's just the beautiful signs. After I got those 6 randomly and I didn't do too much digging.
I love them.
But there's so many better ones than that I was saving because I had the what do you call it? The bloody the reincarnation stories.
Oh yeah.
Because I had the
reincarnation ones are cool, man.
Yeah,
That's so freaky. The whole thing is freaky. I like it. I wish I was more spirit. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have a cool little... Hey, smile at the camera right now. I'm going to screenshot that. Actually, no. Do you know what? Let's do this. Do a shocked face.
Did it look shocked?
I'm going to screenshot that for the...
Did it look retarded?
Oh, fuck, mate. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you while Delby's not here as well. That's the YouTube thumbnail. There we go. What's your anything you want to plug? Do you want to talk about quizzes, man?
Yeah, I run a company now, and it's so hard because I'm real bad at things. But I'm real good at the show, not so good at the business side. But
That's one thing I think you can do is the negative self-talk.
Yeah, but fuck me, I hate you.
No, you love. I love you. You love
Nah.
you. We're all.
I punch that guy every day. Right in his dumb face.
Well, there is a part of you that's, I guess, affirming some of your flaws. Maybe that's like, okay, well, yep, I'll fix that. Maybe we look at it like that.
Slay, fuck yeah.
Let's find a
I'm
positive.
so glad I know you. You're a very positive young man. But we do quizzes. I write the quizzes and then I put them out there and we only hire cool hosts and then they go and host and it's growing really well. It's growing really well.
Oh, mate.
It's going too well and I'm real busy all the time.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Give Delby a couple of goes.
He's already doing his own thing with
No,
quizzes.
that
out.
guy
He's
is.
just
Shout out to Delby, actually.
the dude's a machine.
Poor bloke.
But like-
fractured his ankle.
Crazy, hey, poor little
He
chicken.
is the most unco person I've
Did he
ever
tell you
met.
how he did it?
No, I said, I asked him, is it drinks or is it just random falling down? And he said, like, a bit of both.
See, this is what I like. That's why I want to know what it is because he's made it so mysterious. I bet it's probably nothing. But I'm like, did you fall off a scooter?
I reckon-
Were you walking? Did you kick someone? He's like, I'll tell you when I get home. And I'm like, just tell me now.
I'll tell you when I get home.
Yeah,
I didn't
but-
even ask. I just said, was it like drinks or...
Well, I kept casually asking, and then he would answer other things in the messages. So then I'm just like, "You're
maybe-
dancing around this. What happened to your
Maybe
foot?"
it's
And he
in-
goes, "I'll tell you when I get home." That's why I'm like, "What did you do?
Must be embarrassing.
What were you doing?" Yeah, and the fact that you've like, if you broke, no offense, if I broke my bone anywhere not in Australia, I'm coming back to Australia.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I might as well just stay there and recoup." He's going in the ice bath.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Go off.
I actually just...
It's probably nothing,
Assumed,
I'm just a
I
nerd.
assumed he was just like having a few drinks and just walking out of like a restaurant or something and rolled his ankle because it's pretty easy to do.
I reckon he kicked someone off a cliff or something.
But if now that he won't tell you,
he might just be doing that because I want to know. So he's you want to know, he's not telling you.
But like for someone who's so coordinated, like he's actually quite gifted when it comes to sport. He's also the most uncoordinated, fucking injury prone person I've ever met as well. Like he can't walk around his studio without knocking picture frames off the fucking walls.
Broke his back,
but
or
he's
whatever
also like really talented when it comes to like sports.
Yeah.
So, it's just like I don't get him.
Crazy guy.
It's his karma, I think.
He's such a rat. But it's probably good. He's the type of person that probably needs to take 2 weeks to sit down.
I was about to say maybe it was just forcing him to chill.
Yeah,
maybe. Oh, that's a good thing. Delby, if you're listening, he does listen too.
He
listens to
really
the podcasts. Like he listens to he's actually quite dedicated to like if he does a Patreon episode over in the UK or something like that. I don't listen. Like I don't have time.
Yeah.
Like I don't even listen to our own podcast. Like
no, he genuinely. I feel like he listens to other people's ones.
He does.
Too. He like listens. He's like, oh, did you hear so and so on this? And I'm like, why the fuck would I have listened to that?
Yeah.
And he's like, because they're both your friend. And I'm like.
Yeah,
but what?
Yeah,
like he's very supportive.
He's he's
what a good dude.
He listens to every one of this. Well, I think he
feel
really
guilty
loves.
Whenever he's like, "Hey, have you listened to this episode?" And I'm like, "No, Delby.
No,
no, I haven't.
People like,
I'm so sorry."
My best friends, my best mates. Actually, my best mate, my best man. He listens to most of the episodes. But my best mates, like they're just like, nah. All good, man.
But you can't expect that though either, right?
I don't. Yeah. Like what if it's not their cup of tea? I'm not
exactly. But the listeners that you do have are so nice. I always get hell nice.
Do you?
I walk out of here always so anxious that like I'm retarded and everyone hates me. Shouldn't have said anything. I want to message you, be like, delete all those episodes. Like I hate doing like as soon as we leave, I hate being on a podcast.
Oh yeah.
But I've only ever got positive messages from people. Or if I bump into people in the street and they're like, "Seen you on Hard Yarns."
Oh, I love that.
I'm like.
Cool. Well, the listeners are they're incredible. They're all good people. They have the context of like, long format conversations, not formulating their opinion, just sitting in that pocket going, this is what it is. Like they understand that. But in the comment section where you got followers,
I was going to say your comment section is where it's kind of makes me, but comment section makes me not want to do the podcast because I'm just like, oh, is that who's listening? Like it's very different. Very staunch anti-women, anti-gay, right-wing. It's your comment section sometimes is nasty.
But then also there's the other thing that like 90% of the people who might like or comment aren't even followers. It just comes up in the For You.
This is so that clip that we did about like the stupid conspiracy theory that Brad Pitt is thinking, that went fucking crazy viral. I had to stop reading the comments because it's split between half like this is real, ha, and you guys are faggots, I hate you.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, why are you commenting on this? The amount of people like you're enjoying this too much is like what the joke podcast we're doing about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I switched off the notifications for it because at first I was like, this is great, 1 million views, and then it's like 500,000 comments calling me retarded.
Delby's obviously like Delby hates it as well. Hate comments and
but he replies to them.
Yes, and I'm like, bro, stop, gotta stop commenting. Like that's not gonna help. But he also like I had to have this chat with him. He's like, oh, we get. These are the people who are commenting and stuff. And I'm like, look at like something that's nothing but love, like, or something that's just adventure, or like I'll use like a John Elliott clip as an example that would get 5 million views. And it's just about like having a camel trek across Australia. Still gets hate.
Yeah.
You're going to get hate no matter what. The bigger you get, the more hate you're going to get.
And especially the more positive you are too. Like
exactly.
It just brings more. Like we were doing a jokey, funny, silly one. So that's going to bring out angry people who are having a shitty day.
We tell ghost stories and they're like, something that never happened, bro.
Yeah, like it's fucking dumb. And
I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Also,
thanks for the comment. Helps us reach more.
I comment on people I know and I like, and maybe like I don't know what to say, so you put a couple of emojis like to help out. But the fact, imagine him being that person, watching something you don't like and then like hating it. So like, why did you watch that?
I think very rarely will I post anything like in disagreement. I'll just be like, no, I don't like that. So from time to time, if I'm trying to engage with someone that like I agree with or like we talk to, or if it's podcast related, I'll do that. But very rarely will I just see a random clip and go, oh, this is bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
Like what?
What's going on? But then maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I should be commenting on things.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But people have nothing to do sometimes.
Yeah, it's like
Anyway,
go off.
I've got nothing to plug.
Come to a quiz if you're in Perth. If you're not in Perth and you want a quiz, then buddy, let's send you a quiz over. We can do it in your city.
Yeah. You know what? Squealing pig. But do you know what? I haven't. Okay. Let me explain what happened with my tickets. I put up a ticket link and ticket sales and like an ad and all that sort of stuff. And the purchasing tickets wasn't available because I'd set a date limit when you could purchase tickets accidentally. I didn't realize I'd done it.
Exclusive time.
Yeah, like you could only purchase it from like 2 minutes after I posted it to like 10 minutes after I posted it. If you didn't
get in quick, bitches.
Yeah, exactly. So I fucked up. So I don't even know if that's going to be on now because for 3 weeks it hasn't been selling tickets.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, we'll announce it a month before and start selling tickets. And you couldn't buy tickets for 3 weeks of that month.
But no one hit you up? You didn't notice? You weren't like, hey, why isn't it selling?
I didn't check.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it's like...
Don't know why I'm the judge. I've literally...
It's the same thing, man. I just don't... It's one thing I'm like, oh, I'll do it for fun. And then it's not my...
But my worst one too was when there's already multiple. I'm already snowed up. It's like it's hard to lose weight because I'm already fat. So eating another burger, oh no, what am I going to stay more? Like it's harder, you know. If you know what I mean. So it's the same with when you're already got 50 people you're supposed to respond to.
Yeah.
Or 50 things you're supposed to do. Who cares if there's 51 now?
Oh, and I've been doing that with my emails. I got so many people send stories, people asking to come on the podcast, people like, oh yeah, clients, fucking even bills, like everything. I'm just like, oh, I can't keep up.
I put a shout out, oh, we need more hosts, and I desperately need more good hosts. I had like 8 people hit me up on the Instagram.
Yeah.
And it took me so long to respond to them in the message requests that they've been deleted from there. So now they're just gone forever. I will never know who those hosts were.
Anyway.
Yes, we're the best. Thanks for having me on there. The hard yarns, you're the best.
Fuck yeah.
Stay hard.
All right. Hey, Root.